You know what's funny? Like I hate being in public so much because like I don't necessarily like care about like the mask thing. You know what I mean? Like not care, like I get it. Like I'll abide to the rules. But there's certain places in my city where you don't need the mask, right? And I
Hmm.
still wear the mask. I still wear the mask 100% because I just don't want people to like see me. And like
Yeah.
and there's times where like I literally like I take off my glasses in like the at the mall because I hate like just looking at people because I laser focus on like everybody. I'm just like, I can't do it. So
Can't do the
I'm
eye
just
contact.
yeah, I'm just so weird like that because I make super strong eye contact just like without trying, because like I just look and I'm just like it seems like I'm just creeping on like people, and it's just like makes me feel bad because I'm like not creeping on people. I'm just looking very aggressively. I have resting bitch face too, so it's just so bad.
Gotcha. This man is like fuck vision. Trez.
Hmm. For real,
All
I'm
right.
in it to win it right now.
Here, let me close my window real quick. I'm gonna cue up the music and then we'll get started officially.
Awesome. Yes, I am a full-time culinary student. Yes, sir. Full-time cook at the same time. Just built different.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. 100%.
I just peeped chat real quick.
Don't
Trevor,
worry.
thank you for being here, Trevor. Trevor's my shooter, man. I love it when he shows up and shows out.
100%. All right. Don't worry, Trez. I got you with that question.
Oh my god, such a dumb question.
Can I get some?
Okay.
All right. So, welcome everyone to the Chang podcast. This is episode 14 featuring Dre's Day Off. Thank you so much,
Drinking.
Dre, for being here. I appreciate you so much. This is gonna be fun.
Appreciate you, brother. You've always been so kind to me. I'm super honored to be part of this, honestly. I haven't been excited for a stream in a long time. I mean, like me and Trevor used to rent it up and do like kind of like a version of a podcast. We didn't really like take it seriously, but we used to just like, kick it and like
Hmm.
talk and then get people in. So this is great. What you're doing is great. I respect what you're doing, and I think you make a lot of people happy. So I'm honored. I'm honored. I'm
Thank you
honored.
so much. And everyone, our Instagrams are on the bottom right of the screen. Andre Automatic, that's yours. And there is also a panel to see his profile picture right there, or at least one of his pictures I took from Instagram.
Follow me
Yeah.
on Instagram. I'll follow you back. I got nothing to lose.
I'll be here for a while till my tattoo. For sure, Trez, got you. What's up, Vinny? Welcome in. Thanks for being here, guys. All right, we're gonna jump right into this. I'm gonna be focused, laser focused. So if anyone comes in after this, I'm gonna type to you guys. All right, unless there's like a crazy raid or something.
Feel free to just talk to them and
Yeah, yeah. And if you guys have any questions at any given moment throughout this entire podcast, feel free to ask, and I will let Dre know about it. So let's start things off. Dre, welcome. Please feel free to introduce yourself. What are your interests and hobbies? Include that.
Okay, well, everybody can call me Jay. It's weird because I have like this like separation of like people that are kind of like cool with me. So on Twitch, everybody calls me Jay, and all my close homies call me Jay. My family calls me Jay, but my real name's Andre. So professionally, when I'm at work and at school, um, people call me Andre, and it kind of freaked me out when I like start like after quarantine. I started to like go to school and like started to work again, and people would call me Andre because I was on Twitch for like 6 months straight. I used to like stream like 12-hour streams, like no cap, like you know what I mean, like totally degen. But my full name's Andre Francisco. Francisco is my last name, just like San Francisco. Um, I cook, I clean. um, I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Um, and that's pretty much all you need to know right now, I guess. Pretty basic, pretty basic.
Yeah, good overview, man. So, how would you describe your personality?
Uh, how would I describe my personality? It depends. I, I think I feed off like other people, and so it's like if I'm around people that aren't necessarily like, like very wholesome, or if I'm not around people that are like very like, some people that don't have the good intentions, and if I'm around like fake people, it kind of like rubs off on me. So it's like my personality kind of like shape shifts and shit. But like I thrive off like people, and so like I could be like very like super like ecstatic, like super like high energy, or I can just be like super down bad, like terrible. My natural mood is like down bad. Like you know me. Like my natural mood is just like Marvin's room on a Monday to Friday, and like drinking like God knows where, a church if need be. Like I'm just always like kind of in that mood, but that's just my character, you know what I mean? I'm not like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really come off as like I don't really come off as like the most optimistic person, but I'm very like supportive. I think I'm very supportive, and I like try to bring out like the best out of people. But I'm sarcastic as fuck. I'm like, I like not a narcissist, but I have like dry ass humor, and I like to fuck with people. So that's just kind of my personality, I guess.
Dang, that's awesome. Great description. And by the way, Tress, thank you so much for the gifted sub, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank
My
you.
G, my shooter.
Oh, by the way, Daniel's here, Matt's here, Vinny's
Man,
here.
what's up, guys? Thank you for showing up and showing out. I appreciate it.
The gang's here. Dre can't really see chat right now, so I'm just gonna say things for him. So
Yeah.
you wanna?
You want to completely ignore chat? Just completely ignore chat. I can't tell you otherwise.
I got you. All right, let's talk about the beginnings. So your childhood. You could talk about like when you were born and all that, and just go from there.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it's funny because all my life, I'm 21 years old, so all my life I've always like been told like, oh Jay, you're like so whitewashed, and like, oh, you don't know how to speak like Filipino, or like, you know what I mean, like you're not Filipino enough and stuff. And so because I was born in the Philippines, right? And people always assume I was like born in Canada, but I was born in the Philippines. I lived there for like 1 year. Doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I still was born there. And then when I was 1 years old, I flew out to Montreal, and I lived. But basically, I've always lived. My family has always lived with like my uncle and auntie, because like my uncle and auntie are just like so supportive of like my own like, you know what I mean, like close family, and we've always like been together, and we've always like basically lived together.
You're
And
full
so no,
Filipino?
I'm full Filipino, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And,
I don't know if Trez knew that. He said, "Wait, you're Filipino?"
oh no, that's it's just a joke because
Okay, okay.
we used to give shit to Ches because he looks Filipino because he's so dark. So we always call Trevor Filipino. And then there's this guy in my city named fucking Dexter, and for the longest time everybody on Twitch called him Dexter because me, Jachi.
I don't.
Oh, okay. So me and Jachi, like just one of the other boys, in the group, we just like, you know who he looks like? He looks like Dexter. And then we just spread that around like a fucking like cancer, and it was so bad, and people would just call him Dexter for like so long. And that was like the beginning of our friendship. But
Yeah.
yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I lived in Montreal until I was like 5. I didn't really learn like I never really had the chance to like embrace like the Montreal culture, like Quebec and like or whatever, like I
Yeah.
just was at home. I was around all my cousins. All my cousins are like significantly older than me, but I had a really like strong like family base, and it was just really nice growing up around like a lot of people that are still super influential to me to this day. Like they've kind of like molded me to the person I am, and I've always looked up to them, and they've always been just so like cool. Like I always tell people when I like talk about my family, like shit's a movie, low key. You know what I mean? Like shit's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
like too good to be true, Like I have an amazing family that are always like super cool and just make the most out of everything and so lively.
Yeah.
And so when I was like 5, when I was actually like 6, 7, yeah, around 6 or 7, so between like 2006 2007, my uncle actually got a job in Calgary. So Montreal's in the east and Calgary's in the west, and so he got a job. He got a really good job. He's like some kind of engineer or some shit. And at that time in like 2006 and at that time around 2006 and 2007, like Calgary was like booming with jobs. So a lot of like immigrants started like moving in and like bringing their families and started like taking up the jobs because it was like beginning to be like a thriving city because a lot of work was available. So that kind of rubbed off on my dad, and my dad was like, okay, well, you know, I can't really speak French, you know what I mean, like I can't really
Mhm.
speak French. There's not a lot of like work opportunities if you're not like fully French and you're not like embracing like the Quebec like culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in 2007 we like, you know, packed all our bags and we moved to Calgary, uh my whole family. And from then on nothing was the same, I guess. I've learned a lot since 2007. I don't know. um yeah, it's just been too many things to even explain since then. But yeah, I've been here since 2007, and I've been loving it and loving everybody from here. I think you know Lil Ma's from here.
Mhm.
It's a tight knit kind of city. Everybody kind of knows each other by like mutuals. Um, yeah, and it's just it's a good place. I'm trying to get you out. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
Trevor out. It's just a whole. It's not like, I don't want to say like wholesome, but it's very like, you know, there's nothing to. I don't know. I look at other cities and there's so much like bullshit. You know what I mean? There's so much like, I don't know. Like here, it's just like you can make friends with anybody. You walk outside. You know what I mean? You make friends with everybody. You can always go and have a good time. So that's just how I see it.
Gotcha, gotcha. So to be clear, you don't have any siblings or?
I do. I do. I'm the oldest.
Mhm.
So I have a younger sister, and then I have a younger brother. My younger sister's like, it's crazy. I think my younger sister's like 20 now. Crazy. I'm like 21. I always fail to realize. And then my brother's like 15. Yeah. And
I
my brother's like,
see.
I'm like 5'6". My brother's like 5'8", and he's like jacked. Not jacked, but he's like way bigger. I'm like, why? Like, well, that's so unfair. You're only like 15. You could kick my ass. So sad.
Gotcha. So what's your relationship like with your siblings and your parents?
Um, hmm. Like honestly, like growing up, I think sort of like kind of not separate in a sense, but like day to day life, and like everyone kind of like was always we're always like up to their own thing. So like when I don't live with my parents anymore. I just moved out like 2 months ago. But like like every single day leading up to like moving out, like the at home lifestyle and like the day to day at home is like I would just do my own shit. My dad would do his own shit, and like, you know, my mom did her own shit. My siblings do their own shit. We never really like grew up doing like family like, you know what I mean, day to day family things. Like, you know what I mean. Like we didn't always have dinner, and we
Yeah.
didn't always like go out or like do anything. But we always like my parents tried their best, right? Because they work so much, and that's a lot of the reasoning why, like, you know, we're always kind of home alone. You know, the parents are never home, and you're always up to, you know, like it's either like I'm gaming or I'm out with the homies getting fucking high as shit. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Like, you know, we're always like kind of like up to our own shit. But um, no, ever since I moved out, I think it's been the best choice, because it's kind of, ironically, it's kind of like um connected us stronger, and if that makes any sense, which is like a weird thing, like,
Mhm.
which is a weird thing, because when I lived with my parents, I didn't necessarily always were in the mood to like talk to anybody in my family. Like I'd always just like fucking walk around. I was like, I'm not even trying to talk to anybody. You know what I mean? Because like I'm beat from work or something like that, because I work every single day for the most part, or like beat from school. I'm just not in the mood. And then ever since I like moved out, I like realized like distance in my family is like kind of healthy. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and it kind of shows each other like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like I can still like be there for you when you need me, and like, you know, we don't see each other every day, but we make it clear that we, you know, we love each other and we support each other. So I think that's kind of a surprising thing when I moved out, actually, when I realized like, oh, it's never been stronger. Because when I come home, it's great, right? Like it's, you
Yeah.
know, like I'm home and I'm chilling. So, but it's not like a traditional like, you know what I mean? Like I've seen some families and they're tight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Close
they're
knit.
super
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, they're super cool.
Gotcha, man. And you said how long ago did you move out?
I want to say like 2 months now.
So you're saying before that you were with your whole family?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
we have a house like pretty close to here, actually. But it's basically one of those houses where it's like Yeah, like it's kind of meant for like like one individual to rent out the top and one individual to rent out the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
because the top has like the kitchen, like kitchens, rooms, and like fucking washrooms, obviously, and the basement has a kitchen, and the basement has a washroom, and you know, the basement has like living room and like rooms and stuff. So it was like designed to be for different individuals, because some of my neighbors do that, like two different families, I guess. But it's a really nice house. But I take, so my family takes up the top, and then my like uncle and auntie and my cousin takes up the bottom floor. And yeah, I've always lived with them. Like even in Montreal, they had like this big house, and I always lived with them. Like I've always
Yeah.
lived with my auntie and uncle, with my like mom and dad and stuff like that. But it's just that's how close we are, I guess.
Mm-hmm. All right. So since you've been in Calgary for quite some time, how like diverse is your area, and how would you describe the city?
I would say like it's very, as a city, it's very, it's not like the biggest city, but it's thriving, it's growing every single day. There's always like construction these days, because it's just go 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 nonstop. So it's kind of a mess right now, but it's gonna be good in a couple years. But it's kind of built like uh so there's a certain level of like separatism, I guess. So there's, you can, so I could like generalize it, and I could say like, okay, north and south, two very different people live in the north and the south. So I live in the south, and Lil Ma lives in the north. And so we kind of like built this, like I love her to death, like we're really good homies. And
Uh-huh.
you know, she lives in the north, and I live in the south. But you know, two different like reputations, because the south is kind of like, there's still old communities in the south, but it's kind of where like people want to develop a lot more newer like properties, complexes, you know, plazas, very new, like so much space to grow in the south and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people go to the south to like settle down, and like, you know, they really like prioritize like privacy, and there's like really nice views and like so many different lakes and stuff. It's a big thing where I'm from. If you can
Yeah.
get a house with a lake, you made it. You made it. There's lots of lakes out here and stuff like that, you know. But in the north, they kind of have like this like different reputation of just like, you know, very like blue collar, hardworking people. It's very much more ethnic. The second you get to the north, so much more ethnic people. Um, Much more mix of cultures. Small businesses left and right. Everybody kind of like working together. It's not like very like big business in a sense. Um, and yeah, it's just much different. I mean, it's a lot more shady shit. It'd be a lie to say like shady shit doesn't go down in the north, but shady
Yeah.
shit goes down in the north. Like you would not catch me like 2 a.m. At a train station in the north. The shit goes down. Like you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but that's kind of how the city's built. But there's like, you know, it's a give and take. There's different locations. Some places are different, but for the most part, I feel a little bit more safe where I'm from.
So you stay in the south more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. It just depends where you find. There's nice places in the north. I'm not saying there isn't,
Yeah.
but there's definitely 100%. Like there's places you should not be at certain hours up in the
Mm-hmm.
north. So
Reputation. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So from here, let's talk about, I guess, what your life specifically was like when you were a kid, and then just
Hmm.
growing up from there. So you could include school too, and I guess like friends, activities. Yeah.
Um, you know, it's crazy. Like I think about it a lot, and I don't think I've changed that much in terms of like how I see myself personally. So like when I was a kid, I've always been like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, people knew me as like, oh, you're kind of like hot headed, you're kind of moody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of like, what's it, like bipolar in some sense. And it's true, like to this day, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, but at the same time, growing up, like, people will always tell me, like, gosh, like, you're so social, and you're so, like, kind and selfless, and you know, I always try to like include people. That's a big part of my personality, or like the way I've grown up, or the, you know what I mean, like the way I've been. like of my whole 21 years of life, I've always been selfless. I've always tried to like include people. I've always tried to like make friends and make sure people are like, you know, making friends. And also just like, I don't know, like I just always prioritize giving more than I've take. So I think that's like the one thing that I've always kind of like tried to keep true,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Like growing up, like I obviously like I don't know, growing up I was kind of like not necessarily like timid. I just did not love school, so I never talked to the teachers. I never raised my hand in school. I never really learned shit. Kind of regret that now, but you know, despite me being bad, like in school, I was really good at making friends. Like I was like the best at making friends because I can just, you know, that's just who I am. You know, um, it bring people together. And then in high school was the same shit, like same shit. Never went to class. I think in my senior year I had like 175 absences, like
Oh,
no cap, like
jeez.
no cap. I still walked the floor. I still graduated. Might have had to pull some strings, but at the same time in high school I look at it the same way, where it was just like I was just like, if because I don't feel like I'm necessarily like gifted in any shape or form. I don't think I have like any true natural talent. I look at other people and like, oh, that's natural talent, you know what I mean, like that's a gift, right? For me, I just think like I really prioritize, I really care like about people. You know what I mean? So in high school, it was just like I never gave a shit about like my own well-being. I never gave a shit about my like grades, but I always like made sure people were good. You know what I mean? Like I've always like tried to, you know, like if people didn't have money, it's like I got you. You know, like, or you know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't got no friends, like we can kick it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, be there, uplift people. That's just who I've always been, I think, and I try to my best to stay true to that. But I've always been the same, which is like a crazy thing to admit. I've never, I've never wavered. I've never changed.
Yeah.
I've never changed like that.
So I guess let's start with elementary. Do you have any stories notable to mention or
Um,
things you were interested involved with?
oh my God. Well, I didn't really know. So when I lived in Montreal, I didn't really know French. Like I didn't know French at all, but I could pick up like little things, and try to form sentences off that. Because you know, if you're around those
Mm-hmm.
surroundings, you know what I mean. You have to survive. So I'm like in French school, and I'm like the only guy that speaks like true, just 100% English, and everybody else can speak French. All the other kids can speak French, but they can speak English too, so they understand both. So I remember like so embarrassing. Like I fucking during like this recess, like one day, I like I tried my best to construct this sentence. I don't know what I was asking, but I asked this girl a question and I like constructed this sentence in like Canadian French as best as I could, and I like practiced it in my head, and I like, you know what I mean, like I
Mm-hmm.
try my, and I go up to her like fucking sweating bullets because I don't want to look like a fucking idiot, and I say it in French, and she replies to me in English, like dead English, and I just felt like, oh my god, like this is so embarrassing. So that's what school was like in Quebec, and I was like, oh
Uh-huh.
fuck, you could kill me. But yeah, in elementary, I remember so many funny stories like going through my life. I've never really like reflect on, like in art class, like this girl. I don't know if she tripped or actually legit tried to kiss me on the cheek, but either way, I was like in art class and her lips just fell right on my cheek, and like we both fell off. Like I was sitting on my desk, I fell off my desk, and I was just like, did she try to kiss me, or did she like sort of get pushed into my face? But it was so embarrassing because everyone was like, what the fuck, are in art class? Like, you can't be making out in art class. And it was just like fucking like grade 2. So I was like super embarrassed about that, to say the least.
Yeah.
But there's so many, I don't know, growing up, there's so many different stories. There's so many different moments where
Yo, we love
just try
stories.
to.
So feel free to mention anything, honestly.
I'll
That's the
bring it
bulk
up.
of this.
I'll bring up some good stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you could go from there, continue chronological order of the timeline.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then I remember like I used to, you know, ESL.
Yeah.
So like I'm not ESL because ESL is like English second language. English is my first language, but in
Mm-hmm.
Montreal, Quebec, English is like it's French. That's like the main language that they try. So I was like in the French version of ESL,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So I like go to like these apps. So I'd have to stay extra hours, like kind of getting taught at like a really low level, like playing games in French and like all these like little weird things that they tried to like brainwash me just to like be more French and stuff. And that was the most miserable time of my life. Miserable time of my life. I swear to God, like my dad would like pick me up after work and we'd be walking home because we had an apartment like across like a 10-minute walk from the school, and I would just tell him like, dude, I hate it here, like like I need to, can we go to like an English speaking city or something like that, right? um and I also remember I used to go to like this like community center after school because my parents would like finish at a certain time, so they weren't able to like pick me up like right after school. So I just go to like a community center and like spend my hours at, after school and stuff. And I remember these two brown girls used to bully me like every single day.
Shoot.
But looking back, it never like it never really, it's not like scarring or like, you know what I mean, it's not like, oh, that sucks, but it's funny now looking back. But they used to bully me for like the littlest shit. I have no idea why, like looking back, but it's like I like locked myself in a washroom and like cried because I was just bullied by these two brown girls at this like community center. I'm like, I hate being in a French city. I hate the French people. It sucks so bad. And I
Yeah.
think it's over how I wrote the letter G or something like that. I'm like, oh my God, like little things like that I remember from my childhood. So dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think my childhood has always been just so like active and just so like sometimes I don't think I had like the best childhood because like I kind of compare myself to like other people in a sense, because it's like, oh, I used to go on like vacation and like family trips, and I used to be in like sports. Like my dad never like put me in like sports and shit. I never did that shit. Never like really flew out like to like crazy places. Little things like I look at other people's like childhoods, but then I think about it. It was an amazing time, honestly. Like I've always been around amazing people, motivating people, and just like people you can really genuinely look up to and be like, that's who you kind of want to be. So that's kind of how my childhood was, very like
Yeah.
close to home. But so when I moved to Calgary, I didn't really have like family. Like I didn't really have like cousins or nothing when I moved to Calgary.
Dre,
So,
yeah. Christina
what?
said you're cute as fuck.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that.
I
Thank
got you,
you.
Christina. All right, all right.
I'm shy.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. I'm blushing now. It's getting a little hot in here. No, okay, so when I like moved to Calgary, I didn't have like cousins or nothing. So basically what we did is that like my family's like really into like religion. So I was like raised like Catholic. That's like a very generic Filipino thing to say. But
Mm-hmm.
raised the Catholic. So I always did like prayer meetings. I always went to church. And so from like religion, we actually started to meet like family friends. And to this day, like we had like this huge like family friend group that to this day, like I kind of look as like my second family, or if not like my primary family. You know what I mean? Like those, I spent more time with those family friends than I've had like ever, with other people back in like the Philippines, or even like in the city, or in I have family in like Las Vegas and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But I spent a lot of time with those people, and that's what I'm grateful for too. Like growing up, like those people kind of influenced me, and we've had like so many memories. Like I haven't even talked to them in a long time because we've all grown up, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
Kind of like doing our own thing now. We're not like as close, but those moments and like the time we spent together is absolutely priceless. I can never exchange that for anything. For millions of dollars, I would not exchange that. So
Yeah. Oh, Dre.
hello.
So apparently you know Christina, because Trez reminded Christina who you were, because you were on the dating show or something, and she
Oh,
said,
is that is
yeah, and she said you were too young. She didn't recognize you. She's like, she's crying.
is that Christina? Oh my God, I thought it was a different Christina.
Yeah, Trez said she didn't remember you.
I'm still a 7 out of 10. Christina rated me 7 out of 10. I'll take that, I guess.
Oh shit. Oh
I'm
shit.
just joking. I was just joking.
Yo, I need to watch this dating show, Trez. What the freak?
It's pretty funny. I can't see shit right now. I'm sorry. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he has no
Crazy.
glasses. He can't see anything. So I'm reading for him. I'll
All
take
right.
you back.
I need to take a quick piss.
Yeah,
And
go for it, go for it.
I'm finna get more ice in my drink.
Yeah, do your
and
thing.
Be right back. Sorry to pause the good chats right now.
Nah, dude, it's fine. Take it easy,
Okay.
man. Take it easy.
I'll be right back.
I recognize his room. Would you like to be on it? Oh god, Trez, no, I don't think I could. I'm the type to be on those shows like that. Cause you know, you have like funny people and everything. I remember being in your stream and you mentioned it, and I was just like, holy shit, this is like some Aiden Ross stuff right there. Trez edition. Oh jeez. What's up, Fran? I mean, Sleep. I'm here just for a little. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Andy, what's up? Podcast guest to share today. Let's go. Andy, welcome back. And yes. Christina, take it easy. Thank you so much for the lurk. Our guest is taking a quick break right now. Pretty chill. How's everything, guys? Yo, Andy, you're here again, man. So, Boo, get your drinks ready. Alright, F it, Andy. You've been here for so long now, consistently. I got you. You're the homie. You're a real one. Just don't troll me. just never talk about the thing, alright? And we're good. Congratulations. You know it's gonna come, fuck. Yo, Andy, when are you gonna start streaming? Maybe you could be one of the guests on Trez's, you know, dating show? Wait, Trez, when do you host these things? What's the planning like for that? Is there like a VOD or YouTube video? I'm so curious to know how you do your dating shows. I don't really like it, to be honest. I've done it before. Oh, okay. It's totally fine. It's all good if you don't like it. At least you're out here supporting and still meeting people. So the one with Christina was random. Okay. Like, I'm curious to know how you pick people for both, like, contestants and the one, and like what actually happens. How does this date work? But I'm gonna actually host a dating show. Wait, alright. I thought you've done like a few before, like, and this was just another one you're planning. What's up, Kev? Alright, we're getting back into it, guys. Thanks for being here, Kev. Appreciate you.
What's happening?
Oh
what did I
no.
miss out on?
A few people came in. Trez is talking about the dating show that he's gonna host, or it's coming soon. So no word specifically.
Nice.
But yeah, you got your stuff. You're ready, and
Got
feel
my
free.
eyes. What do we leave off of?
Oh wait. Andy asked what mic is that?
This one? Funny story. I actually stole this from my 15-year-old brother. Shout out my brother. It's Aver Media. This one here, and it came with like, I think it came with the headset. It came with like a stand, and then like some weird like other stuff for streaming specifically. Yeah, but I basically just took it from him because he doesn't stream. So
Yeah. So Dre can't read chat because he doesn't have his glasses. So I'm gonna tell him things for you.
I'll leave it up to you, because if I see something that catch my interest, I'm gonna just like keep like interrupting, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So It's better this way, I think.
Yeah, so just at me or something if you guys want me to tell Dre something. I don't know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna like overlook and type to you guys. All right. Still going through with your childhood. So,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, where did we leave off? Oh, Calgary
Yes.
or
Still, we're in Calgary now.
I don't even know what I. Oh yeah, so yeah, when by the time I came to Calgary, we kind of built a sort of like makeshift like kind of family foundation that we didn't have because we didn't have family in Calgary, obviously. So that was a phase of my life. But then high school came around. I was supposed to go to like, you know how you're supposed to go to high school that you're like that is like in your like district or like
Yes.
area. So a whole lot of people, growing up, you know, whether it be like the family friends or the friends from junior high or mutual friends. I was supposed to go to this one specific school called Bishop Auburn. That was literally like maybe 10 minutes away from my house. It was so convenient. And then I decided, funny story, I decided to go to this art school, which is about an hour away from my house, which was such a grind. And it was because in the 7th or 8th grade, I like dated this girl. Shout out Chantel, love you, girl. Miss you.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about relationships in a separate topic, so just go over it briefly.
Yeah, I know. Shout out Chantel, nice girl. We don't really talk no more. 8th grade. But she like kind of put me on in this school that she like considered going to, which was Central Memorial. It was called Central Memorial, and they offered advanced placement. Advanced placement for like art, so like dancing, drama, music, and art. So I was in there for art, but it was just an excuse because I just did not want to be around like the school that I was supposed to go to. I just wanted something different. I wanted to kind of like be on my own. I wanted to kind of be at some place like no one like knew of me. You know what I mean? I had to like make my own reputation, stuff like that. And because of that, I think I'm really glad I did that. Despite like kind of looking back at the time, I had like a very pessimistic view of just high school in general, and there was very bad times. I can tell you that, where I was just like, I hate people, I can't stand this, I just want to like drop out. I considered like doing online school just so I don't have to like deal with people no more. But it taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about um picking and choosing who you want to keep around your circle. In that sense, like realizing like who's really there for you. I think that's kind of like a key thing about high school in terms of like development. And I absolutely kind of like threw myself into that fire, right? So I didn't know nobody. I made friends with a whole lot of people that I'm still I keep in tight close relationship with. I communicate with them every single day. It's awesome. They support me, they support my cooking shit. And yeah, I don't know, I just so naturally just get myself into like so many crazy situations. So it's just like I can't even
Yo,
I don't even know where to begin. But yeah, high school
do
was,
tell the stories.
I don't know, how do I begin with high school? High school, obviously, I've always been like the quieter type, but I could obviously get crazy if you get to know me, and I could like just to show you that. Now I'm not like I'm not like shy. I just don't really fuck with no one no more. So I never like introduce myself. I'm not really like outgoing in that sense, like socially. But I'm not like, I don't have any loss of confidence. You know what I mean? I'm just myself at all times. But in 10th grade, I remember first day, I was just like, shit, like, what the fuck? Like, I'm really alone. I remember that day. I remember taking the bus, and then, like, everyone's getting off the bus, and just literally everyone knew each other, and I was like, fuck, like, what the fuck do I do? And then slowly I realized, like, okay, so I met the people, I started meeting, like, becoming really good friends with the people in art class, my advanced art class. And then I started, getting tight with like, the sports guys, because I was like into football and stuff. I did football for a bit. So I made friends with like the sports guys, and then I made friends with like literally everybody, like literally everybody. And then it was just this like, I had this like weird moment where you try to be everything for everybody, and you kind of lose yourself. And I kind of felt that way at some point because I remember like no matter who it was, whether it be like an art person or like a sports guy or a fucking, you know, whoever, like a nerd. I was friends with all the nerds. I was friends with like the outcasts. I was friends with the stoners. And I remember like I'd walk through the halls with like anybody, and then I'd always like, you know, get like a dap. You know what I mean? Like someone's like, "Yo, what's up?" Like, "Dre, what's good?" And then like, you know, whoever I'm walking with, like, "Oh, you're super known, like you're super popular, like people love you." But it's not, for me it wasn't like that. Like I kind of felt sad almost when those would happen, because I don't think like I built like, nobody really knew me, no one knew, you know what I mean, like nobody like
deep
cared about me.
connections.
Yeah, like no,
Yeah.
I didn't have a relationship with anybody. I was just really, I was on everyone's good side, and everybody kind of had this like preconceived notion of like who I was. It was just like fucking like sick dude, like whatever. But no one has ever like gotten to know me like on a personal level like that. So that kind of pushed me to grow at a, like an accelerating rate, when I realized that like, damn, like maybe, you know, this is, I might not be doing what I need to do with myself right now. You know what I mean? So I realized like shit, like first of all, like my grades are shit. My everything's shit. Like my friends, everybody is like, no one's really my friend. You know what I mean? Like the parties, like I got to all the parties, but the parties were like, okay, like I fucking whatever. There's high school parties, you just get fucking smashed, and like there's so many times where I've gotten like blackout, embarrassed myself, and I was like, okay, well this is not good anymore. And so I guess I can transition into like who I am now, because you know, my worst, I want to say one of my worst, or the worst, was in senior year, because I had nothing. I had no aspirations. I had no goals. I was not ambitious. I was just like, I drink and drink and drink and drink and drink like every chance I could in high school, guy. Like put that in perspective. Like I drink as much as I could in high school during the week. Like it got to that like level. And I remember like I used to just like always smoke like weed like so much, and it would affect me. Like my anxiety was so bad. Now it's okay. Like when I smoke weed, I can like control it. But before, it's like I used to be like so paranoid. Oh, I'm gonna get caught. Cops are like outside of my house. I don't want my family to get caught. So I was at a low point in my senior year, and I remember I'd skip class, and then I'd go to like this other building where I could like hide and like, you know, bitch and moan to people about how like I fucking hated my life. And then this is the moment where I shifted into being who I am now, and kind of like, you know, building myself up to be the person I need to be. Is I remember I skipped social class, and I was on a call with one of my bestest friends, Niall, and I basically would always like retreat, like school, skip class, and then go to his house and hide for like the whole day. But that day I didn't want to like go to his house, right? So I called him. I'm in a different building from like the main high school. And I called him. I'm like, dude, like one day I'll fucking like. I was just so fucked up, bro. I was just so done. I was like telling him like, dude, one day I'll show everybody like, fuck this. I don't need this. I got myself. I'm gonna be so successful. I'm gonna work so hard. I'm gonna work harder than everybody. But I was just like, I didn't have any plan. I just meant everything I said. Like I was telling him, it's like, bro, fuck. Like I can't do this. I can't. I'm not like everybody else. Like I'm just myself. Like I can't do this no more. Like I was just bitching and bitching and bitching. And like, you know, I got off call with him, and then they have like this lounge in the building, and I sat down there. I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Like I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I look up, I put my head up, and there's a poster of like this girl in like this like chef uniform. And it kind of like hit me in a weird way, because the past like 4 or 5 years from that moment, I would always be on YouTube. I loved YouTube. I still love YouTube. And like, you know, like videos and content creation has always been an interest to me. But I really loved like watching, like I used to watch like Vice. You know Vice? Like Vice on YouTube.
Vice?
So they do, like,
Oh, the YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, like
Or the
it's
network,
like,
or what?
yeah, the network. They make like documentaries and stuff like that, and they have like munchies, Vice munchies. So they used to do like Chef's Night Out. It's called Chef's Night Out, where it's like the biggest name chefs in New York and California and Europe. They would go out and they would go to different restaurants in their city and get fucking obliterated and drunk. And that really drew me, because that's what I kind of like. I love eating, I love drinking, I love having a good time, but I'd never considered cooking, right? And so I thought about like, dude, I really like the lifestyle of a cook, but I didn't really know what I like was gonna get myself into. But I was like, dude, it's either you take up like it's either you take up cooking right fucking now, like you switch your classes and get your shit together and get the credits to graduate, or you're done. Like I literally told myself, and I was so scared. Like I can tell you that right fucking now, I was terrified because I never took initiative in my life. I never tried anything new in my life. You know, I didn't necessarily have confidence in my like skills, and I didn't know I could work hard. And I think that changed my life because I took that culinary class in my senior year, and now it's like, now I'm here.
Your
Yeah,
lifestyle.
now I'm here. Like it's like cooking, like for the most part, it did save my life. It did save my life because if I didn't have that, if I didn't have that moment, and if I didn't have that interest and the perfect alignment, you know, it was the only place I actually felt belonging. Which is weird. Like I remember my first class, like I could listen. I knew how to listen. I knew how to take orders. It felt good being under somebody and then being given a task and doing it and being told good job, because that's I think that's what I've always lacked in my life, is that I never had a sense of validation for anything I did. You know what I mean? I can, like, to this day I still have so many interests in like sports, or like, you know, I did the advanced placement art. I dropped out of the art class, you know what I mean? And I struggled with commitment. I always felt like I gave up. I always felt like I was like, you know what I mean? Like I fell short every single thing I tried, and I was never good enough. For cooking, I just gave it like every ounce of like my existence, like every single ounce, every single day. I remember just going so hard, and I remember the first time I got a cooking job, everyone was so proud of me, and it was just like, fuck, like that. I remember looking back, it was a shitty job, to be honest. But for me at that time, I felt like a 3 Michelin star chef. I felt like top of the world. I felt fucking successful for the first time in my life. I was like, damn, I fucking made it. Like I worked so hard, you know what I mean? And now we're still going. We're still trying to improve every single day in terms of cooking. But I think that really saved my life, and it's really showed me how to be independent, for sure.
For sure, man. So, kind of like specific questions based on what you've said so far.
Yeah.
What actually made you start spiraling downwards, like into a really negative state? Like, do you remember the moment, or what was the like lead up?
I think, you know, I'm very like spontaneous, and I think I'm very like always down to light it up, you know, get fired up, go stupid. You know what I mean? Like I'm always down to like party and like go stupid, and that was easy for me. And what's it called when you kind of like pick up something and like you're just easily like sort of like addicted to it? If you know what I mean. I forgot the term I'm looking for, but it's just
Yeah,
like,
I don't know about the term.
but it's just so like it's impulsive. Like I'm very
Impulsive?
like, so in high school I was very impulsive, so it's like I was kind of like a product of my environment, right? So I'd go to uh various extents to party, to drink, to be around girls, to fucking drink too much, to get in trouble, to get parties shut down, to get into fights, to get into beef. Like it was just a day-to-day thing where it was just kind of spiraled out because it just kind of manifested it in itself, and it's just who I am. Like my personality was like, yeah, it's go time, like fuck it, like, you know what I mean? Like before I was even like, so the legal age in Canada is like 18, so you can, so by the 12th grade, your senior year, you could like, depending on when you were born, I guess, you could buy alcohol, which is crazy. But before I was even 18, I would go to crazy extents to like find someone old enough to get me alcohol. Like I would literally, that was like my lifestyle, which is like skip class. It was a weekend, figure something out, and like make this like crazy like fucking Mission Impossible plan of just like, I'll meet you here and I'll do this and at this time. It's like, you know what I mean? It was like I try to like not steal from the like liquor store, but it's like some people look older, so it's like, yo, go in and just like fucking get it, like fuck it, you know? I
Yeah.
went to crazy extents, but luckily I think working and just having goals now, I still drink like crazy, obviously, but it's not where it was before, where I had no aspirations, and I didn't have like motivation to be anything or want to do anything. You know what I mean? It was a very blurry like sort of time, I'd say.
Got it. Talk to us about your first time drinking and what was that like?
Oh, I used to hate alcohol. I think that's like everybody, right? But being Filipino or being Asian, around, certain families and certain cultures, they kind of, that's kind of their norm. That
Mhm.
makes sense. Like that's kind of like, you should be drinking at a young age. So I think I was given my first like beer Heineken when I was like 15, and I sort of got like, it was like holidays. I fucking could not even down that thing. I was like convinced I'll never drink. I was like, fuck that. And then I got into like the harder stuff, but it was sort of like this. It took its own course, right? Like no matter what I do in my life, like I kind of, if something's presented to me, I'll just follow through with it and then see what happens, even if I don't necessarily like it.
Mhm.
So like with me, that I guess that's the same thing with cooking. It's like I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily like this. I still don't know if I'm really in love with that grind, in love with that commitment, but I'm following through every single day. I do what I'm doing. And for like alcohol, it's like was not in love with drinking. I didn't really get what it meant to be drunk, and I didn't know why people did it. But it's just a very social thing, right? And it makes me more confident. I'll say that. It makes me less worried. It makes me just, I don't want to say like myself, but I can sit here and you know what I mean? Like sit down in this glass and just feel like I can talk to you for like 10 more hours and tell you the complete truth,
Yeah.
but when you get carried away with that, that's when it's bad, and I think I caught myself in that kind of like, I caught myself, you know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
it's just like, now you're getting a little too carried away. But yeah, like sense of alcohol was when I was like 15. My uncle gave it to me, and my uncle like my whole life has always tried to like get me into like a little drinking zone, because he's into more like expensive whiskeys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I remember he'd give me like a little tiny bit all the time, and I'm just like, nah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but here we are now, I guess.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about some stories of, I guess, fights and bullying encounters? Because you mentioned both of those.
Yeah, I was never like, I've always been hot-headed. I've always been kind of like, how would you say it? Bipolar, obviously. Uh, as a kid, and people saw that, but I never really threw hands as a kid. And in high school, I remember in high school, I think my first real interaction or experience of kind of like beef and like fighting. So, me and my buddy, so it was me, my buddy Brody, my buddy Connor, my buddy Elias, that I still love to this day, and I still talk to this day. Met those guys in high school. And I think it was towards the end of grade 10, leading into grade 11. And so we go to this party, and I already felt like kind of shitty vibes. I was like, ah, fuck, there's kind of, I was walking around. We were like in the basement, and I was like, "Oh, there's demons out!" Like in my mind, you know what I mean? I was like, "Ah, just kind of." And it was a high school at a from a different like a different high school.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Group.
So we went to a different high school parties, because it was one thing, because where I went to, the high school that I went to, we threw parties. And it was just like, we did not let anybody in, but it was always lit and it was always safe. You know what I mean? So, but in other high schools, when you go to another high school party, it's like, it's kind of like risky, right?
Mhm.
So we walk in and shit, and I go to the basement. We're all in the basement. We're cooling it. We're like drinking like hard liquor, chugging that. We're smoking like fucking, not cigarettes, and it was like those I don't even fucking know, like the thick ass fucking cigars.
Mhm.
Someone had like full on cigars, like Cubans, and we're like in grade 10, and we're going crazy, right? Like we're going like demon mode in this bitch. And then I just remembered like constantly seeing like these different guys that I didn't know. They would like walk around like sharks, and they would like give us like these looks. And I was just like, I remember I went up to my buddy Connor. I was like, I don't think we should stay. Like, to be honest, like I don't think this is good. Like I think we might be in a little bit of trouble right now. And then Connor's like, ah, no, 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 it's all good, it's all good, it's chill, it's chill. We can leave in like whenever, like 20:30, whatever. Like, let's just catch a vibe. I'm like, okay, like whatever. Like, let's see what happens. Literally, not even 30 minutes later from when I said that, my buddy Brody gets like lured out of the basement by this girl. But this girl was like setting up a trap, son. Like she set up a trap, and he got chased out by like 3 dudes, like outside. Like he had to run out the fucking thing. And I swear to, this is a true story. He ran like goddamn nearly like 80, 100 yards. Like fucking, he sprinted, and these dudes are like, and he's like a fucking athletic dude. So he's like sprinting like 100 yards down the fucking rock, and see him. They went so fast. 3 dudes fucking like chasing him. He turns around, he like spins, turns around, fucking rocks this dude like clean. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. And like, he's just like fucking like on the floor pummeling these dudes. And I'm like, fuck, it's either like I run 100 yards and Brody gets beat the fuck up, or I get some backup and we can all beat the shit out of those guys. So I like run back in as fast as I can. I'm like, Connor, fucking Elias, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. By that time, those guys were already fucked up because Brody like kind of like
A 1v3? Holy shit.
1v3 on God. That guy
Yeah.
was lit too. And yeah, and then the cops came and like fucking such a mess, man. And then like Brody got so drunk, he wasn't even like shook about like the altercation. He was just like going through like this thing with his girl at the time, like his high school sweetheart at the time. So then the night kind of like weirdly like transitioned into like about like the fucking altercation, you know, like getting jumped by like 3 guys, and the fact that he was sad about his girl. So it was just like so bad because we walked from that house home to Connor's, and he was just like bawling his fucking eyes out. He's like, oh, she don't love me no more. I'm like, bro, you just got jumped by 3 guys. Like, relax. Like, you're the man. You literally rocked the fuck out those dudes. Like, fuck. But I think that was my first taste of it. Did not like that. Did not like that. I had like a lot of like high school beefs just because people felt uncomfortable with me. Like, I was just genuinely like, I tend to like befriend a lot of females. And it's just not like, I'm not like saying like I'm not like a fucking like, I'm 100% not a fuckboy. You know what I mean? I'm not like trying to take advantage of nobody. I don't talk to girls just to like fucking say like I talk to girls. I talk to girls because girls are cool, like respect, shout out girls. But I remember in high school I would befriend like a lot of girls, and people felt very like uncomfortable with that in a sense, if that makes sense. Like if they liked the girl and I was like besties, I was besties with a lot of girls, by the way, shout out me. But if a dude found out I was besties with like some chick he had like a crush on, they would come to me about it, yo, because they would like feel like threatened. I'm like, no man. I was like, fuck, like I'd hate fucking doing this, because I'd tell them, I'm like, look, first of all, I have nothing to do with you and this person. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm not in your way. But then it always led to beef. It always led to beef. Like, they always wanted to beef me. I'm like, God, holy fuck. It was so stupid. But luckily, I'm very good at, like, cooling people down and just telling people, like, what's up. I'm just like, dude, like, I'm not gonna fucking just fight you over some chick I don't fuck with. Like that. You know what I mean? Do you still want to talk about fights? Like,
Yeah, dude. By the end of this, I want you to be able to say, "I let everything out. This is my life."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I have a pretty clean track record. I've never really gotten into too much like trouble. So recent. I think it was last year. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Do you and anybody in chat know like Lil Mosey? Does anybody
The
know
artist?
who Lil Mosey is? Yeah, the artist.
Yeah.
So I think it was like either 2019 or 2020. Lil Mosey came to my city, right? And I didn't want to go.
What the heck?
And Isaiah, my buddy Isaiah, was like, okay, I'm gonna force you out anyways. And he was like in a shitty mood, like demon mood, like he wanted to fight. And I was like, fuck, this sucks. And so I brought my like coworker. At the time, he was like a very timid individual, very like super skinny guy, super brown dude, kind of nerdy, and he doesn't really talk much, right? So it was me, Isaiah the demon, and my buddy, my coworker, like the fucking nerdy one, right? And we're at this fucking concert, and these brown dudes, a group of 10 brown dudes. I swear on my life, I can't make this up even if I wanted to. I wish it was fake. In the middle of the concert, they start giving this dude like giving my coworker trouble because he's obviously like a target. Like he's easy to like fuck with, right? And I'm like, oh my god, this is so stupid. So he's starting to get fucked with. Isaiah always rises to occasion. Absolute hero, man.
Uh-huh.
He goes up, he fucking stands in the way. And he's like smiling, he's like smirking. He's like, start beefing. Like in the middle of a concert, shoulder to shoulder. There's like hundreds of people in this like fucking hall. He goes up and he's like in front of like the nerdy coworker dude. And he's like, what are you gonna do? Like smiling, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? There's 10 brown guys, I swear on my life, the first guy to throw the fucking punch was this fucking midget. They had a midget in their group, threw a punch over his homie's shoulders and punches Isaiah in the fucking eye. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna go down. And then we had a brawl in the middle of a Lil Mosey concert. This is fucking real. People started like fucking, I was like, fuck. I was so fucking drunk at that point and I had work next day. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna throw any punches, but I'm gonna pull Isaiah out of it. So I like grab him by the waist and I'm like connected. I'm pulling and pulling and pulling. And as I'm pulling, he's like kicking and punching and I'm getting fucking sparked in the head. Like I'm getting punched in the fucking head like while this is happening. And I'm like, dude, if I break my glasses and I go to work, I'm gonna look like a fucking retard. And I'm gonna look sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
You're good, just go.
I'm gonna look like a fucking big dummy. I'm gonna look like a big old dummy bummy. And I don't want to have a black eye at work. This is gonna fucking suck, right? And we just keep getting fucking pummeled. Like we were just getting pummeled. I'm like I'm whispering in his like I'm speaking like sweet nothings into his ear because I'm like, Isaiah, please, like stop, like can we just fucking stop this? And we're just getting kicked, like we're getting our asses kicked by these brown dudes, and that was so bad. But the kid was like nice about it. Like my coworker was like, oh, you guys are my fucking heroes, like fucking thank you. I'm like, dude, first of all, I didn't throw a single punch, and second of all, I wish that never happened. But yeah, and then like Isaiah had like his face was swollen. And at the time I worked at the grocery store and I like knew his mom because his mom worked at the grocery store. She like confronted me like a few days later and she like almost broke down in tears. She's like, yo, what happened at the concert? I'm like, nothing, we didn't get into a fight or anything like that. I'm sorry.
Oh no,
I'm so sorry. Yeah, bro, it's so stupid. I wish I never got into those like incidents.
yeah.
So preventable. People tend to like violence, you know what I mean? Is chat going off or like what's going on? I can't see shit.
Oh yeah, a few people came in, just side conversations.
Oh, okay.
But like Chill said he could relate to you. But like the fighting and stuff, yeah.
I think okay, so this is my most recent. Oh here, okay, fine. Here's the last story for the fighting shit.
Okay.
Last one.
I don't mind.
Just to get it off my chest. So this is recent. Yeah, so it's probably, I want to say it was like last year. Pretty new in my head, so it's kind of like fresh. But so bear with me. It's not a long story, but there's like different perspectives to take into account for. So I went downtown with my homie Josh, and he's a pretty big gorilla man. Like he has lats that are like the size of Africa. Absolutely insane. Like I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure he does roids. I don't know why he likes me because we look like two different people. You know what I mean? Like he's like this super butch white dude that looks like he doesn't have Asian friends. And he just loves me and we just get along and we're just good friends. And so we're just like drinking and we're getting loaded. We're going shot for shot at this bar. And then I'm like, okay, let's go back down south where I live and let's go link up the boys at this bar, like the fucking neighborhood bar, right? And so I'm in the Uber, I call us an Uber, we're going down south. I call up my homie Brandon that was there. He was with like fuck ton of guys, like fuck ton of boys. I call the homie Brandon, I'm like, I know the bar's gonna close in about 30 minutes. If you get me 2 or 3 beers, I'll love you forever. Get me 2 or 3 beers, like right now, like please, Brandon. And so that's what I thought Brandon was gonna do, right? The Uber pulls up, everybody's outside of the bar. I'm looking at Josh, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why is everybody outside the bar? Why is everybody evacuated? Like, some shit, like, the shit's supposed to be on fire or something, right? We step out. We're like, yo, like the homie Joseph and the homie fucking Connor got fucking jumped like 10 minutes ago. I'm like, what?
Oh shit.
Like, yeah, I was like, what? By who? I was like, I don't know. And then like whoever I was talking to, there's like a theater in front of the bar, and we like see these like 4 dudes like sitting on the curb. And then I'm like looking at like everybody else is like, is it those guys like sitting at the curb? And everyone's like, no way. Like if someone like jumped them, like they'd leave by now. Turns out it was them. Fucking like fucking dummies, right? And so what ended up happening was that the parking lot was like dead empty. It was like 2 a.m., right? We confront these dudes. It was like 6 cokeheads, right? They got mad at like my friend group. There was 15 of us, and they got mad at us because we were talking to one of their girlfriends that were beat. You know who you are. And we ended up like in the parking lot, and then we started like, you know, obviously how these fights always like kind of like turn out to be is like you start talking shit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you start, you know, and then you talk about like kind of like manliness. And I'm like sitting behind everybody. I'm sitting behind all my boys. I'm like, dude, it's a 15 versus 5. Like, we could literally kill all of them right now. Like, can I just go home? Like, please, like, we don't need to fight. Like, that's literally what I was thinking. It's like, we don't need to fight. Like, this is not fair, right? But those cokeheads asked for it. Like, I'm not gonna say they didn't. They did. So basically what happened was like someone threw the first punch, and then shit sparked, and then everybody kind of like dispersed, you know what I mean, like fucking like looked for their guy to like beat up. And then my roommate now, the roommate that I have now, my roommate Owen, he was kind of the one like that was leading the charge that night, and he starts beefing this guy, right? He's like, oh yeah, fucking like fuck, like let's just fucking go, let's fucking go. Dude, it literally one punch it took. Like, he was one punch man. He took one punch, rocks this dude, and he stumbled. I'm so drunk. I'm behind Owen. I'm about like 20-30 yards. I've never sprinted so hard in my life. I sprinted, took him down, and then we started wailing on him, like wailing, like going hard. His girlfriend was like, stop. I'm like, your boyfriend asked for this. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, this is a mess. Then someone started throwing rocks at my head.
Oh shit.
So someone started throwing rocks, like literally huge ass rocks, like boulders, like almost, bro. Not boulders, but like pretty big rocks. We turn around, me and my buddy Brandon were like, stop fucking throwing rocks, fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
stop throwing rocks. So I was like, I took this kid down that was throwing rocks, right? And I thought the kid I took down was hitting me in the head, but it was my buddy Brandon kicking me in the head, because he thought, like, he was so drunk and I was so drunk, so we like miscommunicated, and I was like telling the guy on the ground, I'm like, you're such a pussy, hit me harder. And it was Brandon kicking me in the head the whole time. Like, he was stomping my fucking head, yo, no cap. Like, he was stomping the shit on my skull, and I was like trying to act tough. I'm like, yo, fuck you, like, you're such a bitch, like, hit me harder. And it was him the whole time kicking me in the head. And then, oh my god, and the manager came out. He like pulled us like, get up, you know, like, get up right now, you guys have to freaking leave, like, go, the cops are coming. And you know what I told the manager? I look at him, I sort of like did like this. I was like, I don't have my glasses. I was like this. I was like, yo, I'm sorry, I just kicked the fuck, like, I'm sorry I beat all these dudes' asses up right now, but like, seriously, like, I need my glasses, I can't see, and I still kick their asses, like, I need your help. He was literally like, fuck you, I'm not helping you, like, fuck you, leave. I literally just stared at him like this. I'm like, bro, please. And he's like, fine. He like looks around. He's like, is that your glasses? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, here, bro. And he was like super nice for like about it for 10 seconds. He's like, okay, here, bro. Like, take it. And I was like, thanks, bro. And he's like, okay, fuck off. Like, go. The cops are coming. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, fine, man. Thanks for fucking showing my glasses. But he confronted me like a few months later. He's like, are you that guy like that I like picked up the glasses for, and like, you got your shit kicked in? I was like, yeah, I am that guy.
By your own
like,
friend, right?
Yeah, and he's like, cool. It's just weird, bro. But yeah, I always go to that bar, and everybody like that works there, that was there for that night, they're like, it's a fucking dumbass.
Wait, someone was actually throwing rocks though?
Yeah, because it's weird because this parking lot, you know how like aesthetically they'll like have like, I don't know, there's like trees by the end of like the the parking section, so there's like little pebbles and like really big rocks, and this kid was throwing fucking rocks at us. And so I turn around, we're literally like, stop throwing rocks, like I don't even want to beat you up, like stop throwing rocks. And he started like flipping us off, so we chased him down, took him down, and I got brain damage because Brandon was kicking me in the fucking head. I'm like, God, like I was like, damn, whatever, man, it sucks.
Did you have the conversation with him?
No, we did, but the thing is, it was so dark and everyone was so drunk by that time. It wasn't even just us. Like, my homie Clayton gave my buddy Robin a fucking black eye, like straight up. Like, we went to my buddy Joseph's house and we were like really like adrenaline rush, like pumped up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we were pumped up and we're like, dude, like I fucking like I sparked this guy in the fucking face, man. Like, I swear to God, I gave him a concussion. Like, whatever. We were all like talking about like our highs, but then our lows. So it was like 20 minutes of just like sick stuff, right? And then we paused for a second, and then somebody goes, wait, Robin. Like, we're like, Robin, like, what, how did you get that black eye? And then Robin looks at Clayton, and Clayton's like, I gave it to him. And we go, what the fuck, man? How the fuck do you hit Robin so hard? How do you hit your own man so hard you give him a black eye, man? There's no way you're that drunk. I was like, dude, such a mess. It was a 15v5. But it's funny because a lot of those guys didn't want to even like, they weren't really down to like throw hands like on our side. So it was realistically like 8v5, which is like not that big of a fucking thing. But those guys were coked out and they were pussies. So we ate them up like breakfast. But yeah, that was the most recent. I want to say like that's like 6-8 months ago. And ever since then, I've just been like, yeah, no more trouble. Because I have a lot of stories of like my own homies getting messed up. Like, I had one homie that was goddamn near like in a coma.
Jeez.
Because like he was super blacked out, yeah, at the bar. And then he started like beefing like these 3 dudes. And he's like, some guy like, I think my buddy bottled the dude. And then he just gets rocked. And then so like the initial like strike like my buddy like took, he was already gone, and then he still got like beaten up when he was like passed out. Yeah. And then he went to a hospital. He had to get his like jawline like realigned. He had to get surgery.
Holy shit.
His face was, yeah, he was in a, I think he was like legit in a coma for like a few days. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, yeah, like fighting sucks. Like, fighting is so stupid. But it's one of those things where, like, for me, it's like I don't like it. I don't look for it. I'm always just in that position where I'm like, dude, this fucking is so stupid. You know what I mean? And so it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, not like do anything about it? Like, like, are you like? I'm not gonna just go. Like, I'm not just gonna dip, you know, and like just go home and just be like, yeah, I'm not like supporting my homies. But don't fight. Don't do it, man. It's not worth it.
There you go. That was some of the fighting stories. So aside from that, so there's no other like bullying encounters other than that one time with the 2 girls?
No, I don't think I got bullied. I just think I've had like really like even like friendships, like toxic friendships, where like people just like did not, you know what I mean, like took advantage of my kindness, and I've always like kind of recognized that, and I've always like set that straight. But other than that, no, I don't think I've ever been like, I think like well, you can call anything bullying, right? Like if somebody like kind of like roasts your fit or roast your shoes, right? But it's whether or not like you can take it. Like I took everything, and that's what I like. Like I have thick skin. I've always had thick skin. I'm just like, if you can't like laugh at yourself, that's why you're bullied. Low key. Like sometimes, you know what I mean? Like it's one thing. It's like, okay, bullying sucks. Like people shouldn't just like beat you up because like you can't protect yourself. But a lot of the time, people are like, oh, I was bullied. Wow. It's just like you just can't laugh at yourself, or you just, you know what I mean? You can't see it at other people's eyes. Like just fucking like laugh at yourself, if that makes sense. Like I'm not saying bullying is cool. I'm not condoning that stuff. But sometimes it's like might be needed for certain people. Do you ever look at someone and you're like, wow, you like that person definitely was not bullied enough, and you know what I mean? Like you never looked at anybody and you're like, that person was not bullied enough.
Not bullied enough?
Dude, yeah.
Oh,
like people that are like very like entitled to their own opinion, and they're kind of like, you know what I mean?
I see.
They're just,
I see.
you know what I mean? It's like it's not realistic. And the thing about bullying, not even bullying, it's just like such a like a general phrase, but like being given shit, like that's a necessary thing. You know what I mean? Like I
Builds
think it's
character.
necessary. No, exactly.
Yeah.
More than character, it's just like 9 times out of 10, it's like, why are people making fun of you? It's like, because it's true. It's like you might look dumb that day, but it doesn't mean like, oh my god, it's the end of the world, and oh my god, like these are awful people. It's like, can you laugh at yourself? You know what I mean? Can you just be like, yeah, it's true. Like that's all you gotta do sometimes. It's like, yeah, man, like whatever, man. Like I don't know. Like sometimes it's just blown out of proportion. But there is severe cases of bullying, which I don't condone.
Yeah.
But
There's situations. I got it.
yeah, but in my perspective, it's like there's certain situations where people call it like bullying. It's like it's not bullying. It's like you just can't take it. You know what I mean? It's just like you just don't got thick enough skin for that stuff. You know?
There you go. Other things, since we're still on the topic about school, do you want to talk about how you got into football and how that went down?
My dad's just like super into sports. My grandpa was actually a coach for like a big university in the Philippines, and like back in the day, like in the 19 like whatever, like way back in the day, like during the world wars and shit, he actually like was coaching the Filipino like basketball team to represent the Philippines. So it wasn't like the Olympics, but it was like back in the day, it was like the equivalent to the Olympics, and they were supposed to fly out, but the World War ruined that. But he coached like at that level. My dad was like a point guard, like at that level, like a very competitive level, and he was super big into sports. And I never got into basketball like that. I love basketball. I can still play basketball, but I wasn't like really put into a path where my father wanted me to be like an athletic prodigy or anything like that. But he's always super into like football because he loved the team aspect of football, but he also loved betting. So my dad still to this day, he loves betting on sports. He loves like getting into like the everything, like injuries, stats, trades, all that stuff. So that kind of in grade 10, obviously it's like high school. It's like that's cool. I want to be part of something great. So I was like, oh, let's just do football. And I just like anything I ever do, I like, just try my best and everything. But I was very undersized. I'm only 5'6", but I made a lot of friends. I made a lot of friends that kick my ass, but I made a lot of friends to this day. So I'm glad for that. And it wasn't a pretty sight. We'd lose quite a bit of game. We didn't have like a real coach. We didn't really have like a real coaching staff. We didn't really have the most athletic people. It could have gone way better, but it's just high school football, right? So I took it as it was, and I just tried my best. But yeah, the other years I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And they like struggled to like find like students to take up football, but nobody wanted to do it because it was like not worth my time or brain damage.
Yeah, I see. And then you mentioned that you play basketball, but not for the team.
So in junior high, I played a little bit of basketball. I competed a little bit for school. I was never like technically gifted. I didn't have the best handles, or like, you know how like you play Valorant or like any game like Apex or I guess Call of Duty or like any game or like League. It's like you need game sense more than you need skill. You know what I mean? Like your game sense is like number one over how fast you can just like headshot someone in like a split second, right?
Yeah.
So that was the thing about like basketball in junior high. It's like I don't really have a game sense, and I don't have like I'm not like athletic as these other kids, but I can shoot that shit. And I shot a lot of threes. I remember that shit. Oh my god, I went crazy. That was the best feeling, man. You could shoot a three and everyone's like, ah. And that was a good time. That was a good time. Yeah.
Hyped about it, yeah.
Hyped about that, man.
So that was just junior high? You don't like play anymore?
Oh, no, every now and then. I think
okay.
in high school, I used to be kind of obsessed with just like grinding, like not even just like being necessarily like the best player on the court because I knew physically and just even mentally that's not realistic. I never told myself to be anything more than I was, but I've always anything I did I always fell in love with kind of like working, like just don't be good at something, just be good at like grinding, be good at working. And so I remember like I used to go to YMCA 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Like you don't see like 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds going to the YMCA at like 7 o'clock, like a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single day. I used to go every single day, and I'd shoot free throws for 2 hours, and then I'd wait until like 3 hours later, and when people actually like show up, and I'm like, damn, I've been out here, like, and I'm still not as good as like those guys, but we do like pickup games, and my defining moment ever is so funny, yo. This old dude, had the nicest stroke, like the nicest, like he had
shot.
to be at the time, he had to at least be like 55, like nearing 60, old dude. But he'd always wear a Phoenix Suns like sleeve thing, like pullover like kind of shirt. And then like I'd play pickup games with him, and I remember like every single time, I don't know why, but I would kill those games, you know what I mean? Like we do like pick and rolls, I'd lay it up. I never usually like I'd impress myself every single game I competed against this like old dude. And then it's just like I found out like he was on the coaching staff for the NBA Phoenix Suns. I was like,
Oh
what?
shoot.
I was like, what? Are you kidding? Like that was a defining moment where it's like I didn't know that, but I just balled out. Like I just tried my best. Like I remember like that a little bit. But then I fell off. I was like, I'm not in love with basketball to be true, to be honest. You know what I mean? But it just showed me like what you're capable of. You can put your head down and kind of like grind and kind of just like not be so in love of like who you want to be, just be in love of just working. You know, just working.
Do you watch sports right now?
I think when I had more time, like outside of work, and then the months I have school, I used to be really like, I used to do that a lot. I used to watch a lot of football, a lot of basketball. I wanted to be like really good at betting because I wanted to like almost like be a full-time like bettor, because people do that with themselves, which just sounds like super stupid, but there's people out there that are really good at it. Right?
Yeah, pays off.
Yeah, so it, like, you know, I mean, like it compounds, right? So it's like, let's say you put like $100, you win like $100 more. You have $200, and you can slowly like bet and bet and bet. But there's guys like, you know, in the betting world, they'll like do like they'll do one guaranteed game, but they'll put like $55,000 on one game, and they'll win like 20 grand. And I'm like,
Jeez.
I can't even imagine risking $55,000 just to win 20 grand. You know what I mean? But that's just like in terms of like on stock.
The levels
you know
to
what I
it.
mean? Like, yeah. It's just like, oh my god. Like, I was like, damn, I'm a baby compared to these guys, you know. But yeah, I love sports. I've always loved the competitiveness. I love the stories. That's my favorite part about sports. I love the stories. I love a good underdog story. You know, there's just so many, like, I just love like hearing stories even outside of sports of people that know how to work hard and that have like really good mentalities and really good work ethic. And just, yeah, I'm just in love with stories, I think.
Yeah. What teams and players do you go for?
Well, obviously, I have to root for the Toronto Raptors whenever they're in the playoffs. But I remember, because you know now, like, Brooklyn Nets. Do you watch basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, like, now, like, Brooklyn Nets are, like, popping. They're popular. You know, KD, honestly, Wilson, like, is KD the best player in the NBA?
As of now, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember back in the day, I used to wear this stupid camo Brooklyn Nets hat, snapback, and nobody understood why. They're like, that team's trash. That's when they had like Joe Johnson and like Kevin Garnett and shit like that. And I repped them to death. I just love the Brooklyn Nets. And then finally, my day came where it's like, oh, the Brooklyn Nets are cool. And then but I was allowed to not be a bandwagoner because no one can call me a bandwagoner. I love the Brooklyn Nets and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I don't love teams just because of the team. I love like the squad. You know what I mean? Like the squad. Like Miami Heat, I love the squad. Like Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, all those guys, love the squad. You know what I mean? Like if you have a good squad, I'll like you. But if you can win me a bet, I'll like you even more.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But no, it's never about the team necessarily. But
Got
I
it.
respect
People.
most players.
And then for football, you like the Browns, right?
I like the Browns just because of Johnny Manziel. I was a big Johnny Manziel fan back in the day.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a little crush, a little high school crush on Johnny Manziel because he was just like the cool guy. He was undersized, and like he just made things happen, right? Like he used his feet, he throw the ball, and he just do amazing things. And I was like, wow, if he could do that, I could do anything. So he's one of those guys that kind of like you
Yeah.
look at and you're like, man,
Inspirational.
inspirational in a lot of senses, and even attitude. Even like he used to do the money hands, and he got in trouble for doing the money hands because it's just like it's rude to do that. It's not like sportsmanship. But man, I loved him, and now he's like a drug addict. We don't talk about that. He's like into coke and shit.
All right. So I guess we could talk more so about the rest of school. You said you went to culinary school, right? Or did you go to college or what?
College? No, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, college was never the plan, and I never really set myself up for college. And I think it was just because primarily I didn't have the right attitude. 100% I did not have the right attitude, even beginning from like elementary to junior high to high school. Never had a good attitude. Never really, I never had that part of me that kind of could just like put in like perspective and just be like, I never put my head down. I never tried to understand concepts. I never tried to learn. And it's just now recently where I've just grown in maturity, where it's I love to learn, and like I always feel like behind because like a lot of people are smarter than me. But no, I just never took it seriously. I never I never made it first, and I think that's my regret. I was like not even just like I'm jealous or anything like that, or like, oh, I wish I could like say I'm in like university, but like I just think it's just for me. Like I wish, if anything, I could still do it, and maybe I will. But right now I could tell you like, damn, I wish I like set myself up like before so I could already be in like uni, just for me. You know what I mean? Just for me to know like my potential, because I feel like yeah, I'm smart enough. Like yeah, I can get the work done. Like I can commit myself, but it's like, if you ask me like, could you be in university like right now for anything? It's like no, like no way, like not even close, right? And but that's I guess I just fit more into like, I go to a trades. It's still called college. It's still like considered a university. It's called SAIT in my city, and it's like like in terms of like the nation, it's like recognized as like a really good school, and people from like other countries literally come from other countries to attend the school for their specific trade. And we offer a lot of like, we even offer like business and like very applicable things. You know what I mean? Like you get out of like the program, any program at state, and you're guaranteed a job. Like it's like 90%. But I just always feel like, I don't know, I'm missing out on the true like university experience in that sense.
Yeah.
You know, but it still feels like school to me. You know, I still put my head down. I have to learn all the science about cooking, all the techniques. It does get difficult sometimes, and there's a lot of science, a lot of math, but it's just cooking at the end of the day, right? So.
Oh, Hunter Sati, what's up? He said Dre, holy shit.
What's up, baby?
Welcome, man. Hope you're well. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. He said, "Oh my god." He's so sexy.
He's in Calgary too.
Wait, have you guys not linked up yet?
We've never met. That's the craziest thing.
Bro, I gotta meet all of y'all. We'll talk about
I,
that after.
I
though,
love
but
I
yeah.
love Hunter though.
Dang, that's crazy.
I love Hunter, man. We used to spend a lot of time together. He used to carry me on Smurf accounts.
Ah, well, everyone has gone through that experience with Sati. Gotcha.
yeah, pretty much.
All right. He said now I don't even have any accounts. All of them are plats. Oh shit.
This is
Just how good you are. Exactly.
Oh my god, we just did the
I
same
know.
thing. That's crazy. Can someone
Holy
clip
shit.
that?
Oh god. Yinji, what's up? Welcome back. We're just talking about Dre's education, but now specifically, let's get into work.
Yeah.
Work experience overall, and then you could tell stories and get like just into the nitty gritty details. Oh, Sati likes your cut though. He likes
Thanks,
your
bro.
looking
Appreciate it.
fine.
I'm light skinned now. Psych. Sheesh. Don't pipe me up. We get excited. You have any specific starting points or?
Just start with like your first job and everything, and just go from there. Like
Okay, yeah, for
how you
sure.
left, what was like.
For sure. My first job was thanks to my super supportive and giving family. So my cousin works at a theater very close to my house, and that was in 2016. I got my first job, and I met a lot of like high school kids, and I was working with a lot of high school kids. It was an awful job. It was so bad, and the customer service was so bad. But I learned how to like at least try my best, even though I knew my best was not that good. Like I knew like I was just a kid. You know, I knew I was just 16. And I was like being given shit by like 25-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like my managers. Right? But it's like they tell me to like make the popcorn. I made the popcorn as best as I can. That's fine. And then they'd be like, oh, like fucking like peel all these potatoes. I peel all the potatoes as best as I can. But looking back, it was such like a shitty gig, to be honest. And like the customers you deal with were so insufferable. Like they would treat me like I owned the place, which was the worst for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I just work here, dog. You know what I mean? And they'd be upset of like whether it's like they can't get the deal they wanted or something with the tickets, or like I'm late for a show, or like all these things. Just like, oh, my baby's crying. It's like, I don't give a fuck about your baby. I don't know your baby. That baby's not my baby. You know what I mean? Like there's so many times where I could have just like lost it on like customers, and it was just such a bad gig. Like, and there's different positions, I guess, but it was just more different tasks, I guess. So it's like sometimes your shift is to clean. So after the end of every show, you have to clean the entire like theater, like
Mm-hmm.
the room, like out, like every aisle, room. That was like the worst. Or sometimes you stood there for like 10 hours and you ripped tickets. So that was my first job of just like knowing like how shitty work can be. And then I worked at a grocery store because my mom worked there. My mom still works there. And I got a job at a grocery store. I pushed carts. So I'd collect the carts and then I'd push them back. And then I'd also it's called a price checker. So if anybody has a problem, they'd be like, yo, check the price, and deal with it. You know what I mean? So that was cool. I put products back on the shelf. But what I learned about price checking though is that I learned how to handle people. So at the theater, I learned what it meant. Like I experienced the worst from people at the theater. You know what I mean? But I didn't solve issues. At the grocery store, I solved issues. Like there's so many times where like customers wanted to like beef me. I was literally like 17, and people wanted to beef me, and they treated me like I owned the store. And I learned how to like handle that. I was like very mature about it. I'd always just be like, sir or ma'am. I'd literally say this, like I'm not even kidding, Wilson. I literally, if someone was like getting into like a heated conversation with me,
Yeah.
like getting really frustrated, I'd sit there and be like, look, first of all, you don't have to be mad. I always started with that. Look, you don't have to be mad. And I'd say, I'm here for you. Um, I'm just doing my job. And I don't know what's going on outside of you being here at the grocery store, but we can figure this out and you can cool down. And like 10 times out of 10, they're like, I really appreciate that. And then they'll be like, oh, my boyfriend's like giving me shit today. Or like, oh my God, my kids are like, blah, 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 blah. And it just taught me how to like solve problems for people, I guess. Because people can get carried away with that stuff, right? Like people tend to get carried away and they kind of put it on other people and they're like, oh my God, I hate my life, and so I'm gonna treat this person like shit. And I never let that fly. But my first freaking cooking job was insane, because I I wanted to be that guy that was available, so my availability was 7 days a week, all day.
Yeah.
And they used to make me close. So they used to make me close, and I closed the whole station by myself. The whole, not station, the whole kitchen by myself by
Jeez.
3 or 4 a.m. 3 or 4 a.m. And then I come back at 7 a.m. to open the kitchen.
What the hell?
And I was 18. I was 18 at the time, so I didn't know better. And I just put my head down and I worked. I worked so hard. Like I worked so hard. Like at that point. And it didn't teach me how to cook because it was one of those like chain restaurants. And so I felt like, I realized like I was more of like an assembly line worker. You know, like I
Yeah.
didn't cook. I assembled things that seemed like food, that seemed like dishes that weren't real food. That was like kind of preconceived, and like it was just very controlled. But I learned how to work hard. I learned how to like run. Like I learned how to push myself. Like you don't even know how shitty it feels, listen, to like clean the dishes for 5 hours when you're not the dishwasher. And it's like, oh, they're doing a catering event because it was in a hotel, this restaurant. So if they did a catering event in their space, I'd have to do that for 5 hours, and the dishes didn't stop. So I was there for realistically 8 hours, 9 hours, cleaning it, and I'm not
That's
a dishwasher.
horrible.
You don't know how that like feels. Like, you know what I mean? Like
That just sounds horrible.
I used to push myself. I used to have to push myself at that place. But it didn't teach me how to be a good cook, you know? It didn't teach me about leadership, and it didn't teach me about you know what I mean, like responsibility or those little things. It kind of hit, because now I know what it means to be a chef. Like I think I'm now at the point where I feel like a chef now. Like 100%. And obviously I'm still young, like I'm still 21. But I feel like a chef in the sense that I try to express my leadership. I try to delegate others, not be their boss, but I try to delegate others to do what's needed of them. You know what I mean? Be responsible, be you know what I mean? Prioritize cleanliness.
Yeah.
Prioritize technique, prioritize efficiency. But I wouldn't say I'm even like the best like at my work. Like I'm literally like not even top 5 or even 8 people there, but I feel like a chef now, because I think the key is, if you're gonna make it in this industry, you have to kind of tell yourself that you're a chef before anyone gives you that title.
So what's your actual title right now?
My actual title is just line cook, right? But at
I see.
so I work 2 different jobs.
Oh, okay.
So my one job is actually at a restaurant, right? And they give us a lot of like independency, I guess. They try their best not to need to tell us what to do. So I guess everybody is kind of feels. So you know what a sous chef is?
Is that like an assistant or what?
So there's the head chef. Okay, well there's a lot of different, depending on the restaurant and how it's structured, there's different scenarios. But here's a generalized scenario. There's a head chef, right? And there's a sous chef, and there might be like, if it's like a French restaurant, like a chef de partie, which is like the station head, and then there's like
okay.
Yeah, and then there's like the line cooks, and then there's like the commies, the trainees. But where I work, it literally goes head chef, couple sous chefs, but the sous chefs expect you to be a sous chef, and that's the thing, and that's really, and I think I really I like that about my job, where it's like they don't want to delegate. They don't want to tell you what to do. They don't want to bitch you out. You know, they don't want to be that person. They
Mhm.
want you to be like, take responsibility, work your ass off, know your tasks. You know what I mean? Like little things where it's like stalk the line. You know what I mean? Like stalk the line. Like, why do I need to tell you to stalk the line? You should know how to run your station. You know what I mean? And so it's an amazing thing to be in that in my position where it's like I feel like a sous chef even though I'm not. You know what I mean? Because I work so hard with my other line cooks and we help each other out and we like uplift each other to be better chefs. And we
Mhm.
are chefs. We are chefs because we all get our own opinions. We can all express our differences. We can solve problems. We can change things if we don't like a certain way. Something everyone's heard. So yeah, I do feel like a chef. But my other job is actually at a I don't know if I told you it's like a farmer's market, my other job.
No, I did
Oh,
not know
so
that.
my second job I still cook, but it's in a booth in a farmer's market. So at this farmer's market there's like so many like it's like a food hall type situation. So the
Mhm.
booths have like different types of food. So like Greek and like you know what I mean, like barbecue or whatever, or like Southeast Asian food, which I do. And so I work for this like Southeast Asian food booth. And now I'm in a like a phase where they want me to take more responsibility in that sense and be that guy to run that shit because they don't want to be there no more. And so it's
Yeah.
like now I'm in a position where it's like I'm transitioning from like basic cooking guy to like yeah, you gotta fucking you gotta you gotta take responsibility, you know. So kind of shook, kind of nervous.
What's your schedule looking like now with work?
Mm, pretty fair. Cause at the restaurant, chef will give me a super busy week, back to back to back to back shifts, closing, and I just grind that out. But the next week he'll just be like, I'll just give you a couple shifts, easy shifts. I'll let you even just do prep. You don't have to be on the line. Just for my own mental health, he prioritizes, which is like very rare to
Mhm.
find in the industry. And he recognizes that people need rest. You can't expect people to grind like every week for the whole year, right? So I have a really good schedule in terms of that. I have a consistent schedule of my second job, but if they need me in, I literally cut yesterday. I cut chicken for 4 hours straight. So it's like one of those things where sometimes I'm called up. I'm like, yo, can you come in and help us out? You want to cut chicken for 4 hours? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll cut chicken for 4 hours. Like that's cool, I guess. Cut my nail. I was fucking get burned and like have so many cuts on the body. It's crazy.
Jeez. So how long have you been working at your current jobs?
So let's see. I've been at so my part-time job. I've always like did it for like the past 2 years,
Okay.
depending on my schedule. Um, but my boss is not really my boss. He's more of like a friend to me,
Mhm.
and like he's always kind of like wanted me to help him out and be there to support him because
Mhm.
he never hires people. So I've always covered his ass. I've always done everything he's asked me to do for the past like 2 years or so, on and off. But my new restaurant job, I've been doing it for like 2-3 months, and I feel like I've just improved so much.
Yeah.
On like yeah, just being in that space, it's just amazing. Like the rush, of dinner service. It's just it's scary
Mhm.
because it's real people and you're handling their food that goes into their bodies with your hands. Kind of nerve wracking.
Yeah.
Kind of nerve wracking sometimes, but I also do weddings sometimes. Uh, I did like a 200-person wedding 2 weeks ago.
Jeez.
Um, not even, oh sorry, not even 400. It's 400. 420 people 2 weeks ago.
Goodness.
Yeah, and sometimes you do those like little private catering stuff.
Mhm.
But I'm seeing a lot of things that I never saw before. I used to see cooking at a very like tiny keyhole, and it's much bigger than that. And it's very It's huge. Like in words I can't even. There's not enough words to really explain, I guess.
Yeah. So since we're on the topic of cooking, how skilled would you say you are?
How skill? I'd say I have a good. I I say this all the time. I say this all the time to myself and other people. It's like I don't think I'll ever be the most mechanically gifted line cook.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not mechanically gifted. Like there's guys that just like they're monsters. Like they're literal like creatures. Like they just know how to get 1,200 covers a night and just blast through them and not complain, just cook. And those guys, God bless them. But I'm not those guys, right? But and then I realized like you don't have to be like the most mechanically gifted person to be a sous chef or to even be a head chef, right? Like you have to. I think I have other skills in top of my like cooking skills. You know what I mean? So that's what it means to be a chef too. It's like, can you delegate tasks? Can you plan in ahead? Can you make a prep list? You know what I mean? Can you prep? Can you prep? Like, can you make all the sauces? Can you
Mm-hmm.
tell people how much like something weighs? What bag you use? You know, like those little things of like the other technical stuff. But in terms of cooking, it's like I can put my head down and I can grind out a fat service. Like I've been in the weeds. I know what it means to be in the ship, but I don't think I'm even close to some of those guys. Like some of those guys can really cook. You know, like some chefs can like cook, like just go, 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 go. I'm not gonna say I'm one of those guys, but there's other skills where it's just like I try to make it feel welcoming to people. You know what I mean? Like I actually
Yeah.
like the first thing I do when I walk in, I say hello to every single person on the line. I say hello Irene, hello Paul. You know what I mean? Hello dishwashers. I'm like, you know, I think that's what my skill is. It's bringing people together and kind of recognizing their strengths over mine. And yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Where it's like, I know like the cooking will come by itself, but you really have to put your head down and learn how to be bigger than that, right? Like, you know, like in a managerial sense, like you have to really think about that because the cooking, I can't force myself to be better at cooking in 3 weeks. That doesn't happen, you know, or anything you do. It's like, you know, let's say you do golf or you like you play basketball. There's nothing you can do for yourself in those 3 weeks, like to make yourself like exceedingly better, you know, other than consistently doing it. But you're not gonna be that much better. Like that's just true. And cooking, it's like I can try my hardest for 3 weeks, but it comes. It'll always just naturally come as long as you're cooking. So I just try to focus on, you know, being bigger than just cooking, being like a source of like people can come to me and trust me and like we can work together. I'm not gonna like be mean to you. You know, it's like I'm your friend. We can have a good day at work. We can have a sick service. I always tell people like, really good job, man. You killed it tonight, man. You did like 30, you did 30 steaks, man. And like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like the dishwashers. I'm like, oh, thank you so much for like doing like, you know what I mean? Like putting your head down and like grinding that out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at now. I don't know, but I wouldn't say I'm like necessarily like really good at just the cooking aspect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Christina's back. She says, "Dre, take me back, please."
Christina, you don't even follow me on Twitch, so you lying, girl.
Oh shit. Um, that was a little personal. I see. I see. So I'll let
Can't
you
see
know.
shit.
I'll let you know if she responds.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
sorry for rambling. I don't mean to ramble like that.
Oh, she's pulling up your Twitch right now. All right. Cool. 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 So I asked, yeah, how good you are, but I see the way you took that question and like the aspects of work and all that. But
Yeah.
like, if you were outside, you met someone new, and then he's just like, "Oh, do you cook?" You'd be like, "Yes," and they would ask
Yeah.
you, "How well do you cook?" What would you say?
See, it's like it's I've
There's like
had
levels to it.
No, that's the thing.
Right?
It's like people that don't cook or like even like I feel like there's a like let's say I talk to someone that doesn't cook at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a very hard conversation.
I
Um
see.
and an easier conversation on top of that would be like, okay, so let's say someone did cook at home, right? And they love cooking at home. It's like, okay, I can have a conversation with that person. But then there's like I meet guys that like work at like pubs. You know what I mean? Like the people that work at like pubs or work at like chain restaurants that assemble food, and they're like, oh, like they'll ask me like questions about cooking and stuff like that. But there's levels where it's just like I don't. It's hard to not sound like you know a lot when you know a lot. I think does that
Yeah,
make sense?
I
Does
get
that
it.
make sense?
I see. I
It's
see. I
like
see.
I can't have like it's hard for me to have like a very down to earth conversation with like a home cook when I'm like, dude, like the other week I fucking breaded like fried macaroni for 6 hours
Mm-hmm.
until my knees buckled. You know what I mean? Or I shucked oysters until my fucking nails bled. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
my
those
gosh,
people
yeah.
it's like how do I have those conversations?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like uncomparable. You
Like
know,
all
it's
in your head, and what comes out is like, I'm all right.
yeah, and like the worst question anyone asks me is like, "What's your favorite thing to cook?" It's like there's a difference between I don't cook for myself though. I cook because I'm hired to cook what people tell me to do. So so that's the kind of like that's what separates me in that question where it's like people ask me, "Look, what's your favorite thing to cook?" I'll be
Mhm.
honest, I don't cook for myself at all like that much. Like I try, but I know how to cook for a business. I know how to cook for a restaurant. I know how to cook for a restaurant with investors that give millions of dollars to like this restaurant. You know what I mean? Like I know what it means to do that, but I don't know what it means to even like cook for myself sometimes. And that's kind of sad, right? Like it's like, oh, like you don't even have like a favorite dish you like to cook. It's like, no, I eat hot pockets and I make mee goreng when I come back from work and I've starved myself for 12 hours. That's what I do. That's my lifestyle.
Damn.
That's like the cooks. Everybody on my team starves themselves. They starve themselves because you can't work if you have food in your stomach. You just can't work. You just don't even want to eat. You're just working like so hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me go ahead and cross off that question.
Yeah, sorry, pretty intense question. My bad, but
No, no, no.
it
That's
gets pretty
good. That's
crazy.
good.
It gets pretty crazy in there, man.
Here, how about I switch it up? What's your favorite thing to eat?
What's my favorite thing to eat? I really love Asian food. Obviously, if I could eat something every day, it'd probably be sushi.
Sushi
Um,
specific? Okay.
I love pho. In my city, pho is like essential. Everybody loves pho. Um, yeah, just Asian food. Like Asian food. Like that's it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's it, to be honest. Um, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about Asian food because all the jobs I've worked in terms of cooking, especially where I'm from, it's very like kind of meat and potatoes. Like not meat and potatoes like literally, but there is the restaurants that are in my city. Um, they tend to, everybody kind of copy and paste each other. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so everybody does a burger, everybody does a few steaks with a side of mash, with a side of veggies. Everybody can't like they'll if they're willing they'll do like a roll, or they'll do like a tuna thing, like a tuna tartare, like something crazy. You know what I mean? Like, but where I'm from, it's not too adventurous in that sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like it's going insane right now.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, yeah. Side conversations.
Okay,
Um.
okay.
So, is there anything that you hate just cooking? Probably because you're just so fed up and tired of doing the same thing over and over.
Um, what do I hate about cooking?
Or like what you don't like to
There's a lot
make.
of things I hate about cooking, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, is the question what I don't like to make, or just what I don't like about my work, like my craft?
It was what you don't like to make, but that's also a good question. What you just asked.
Um, no, I think no. I've never backed away of like a new challenge. I've always like you know, it's always scary to like um learn a new station.
Mm-hmm.
That's so scary, especially knowing that, you know, the guy teaching you has so many more reps above you and has so much more experience, especially being in the shit. So the second you mess up, he's gonna tell you you're an idiot, and you have to eat that, you know. And that's the lifestyle of being a cook. But no, I don't know. I love just cooking. I love cooking. Like anything, everything. You show me something, I'll absorb it. I'll practice it. I'll try my best for it. And on the way, people will tell you like, there's a better way of doing this. There's a better way of doing this. And I think I'm obsessed with that, like the process of that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to ask me like, what do I hate about cooking? It's like it's just really it's just really straining. It's just really, it takes, the industry takes more than it gives to you. And it's like it's unthankful. Like it's you don't get recognition. You don't get um you know what I mean? Like you don't get a lot of things. You know what I mean? You don't get family time. And you just don't get respect sometimes. You don't get respect. You don't get paid what you should be paid. And it's just unforgivable, this work, to be honest. And that's the saddest thing, because I talk to a lot of chefs that have accomplished so many things. I've talked to, I'm in a network of like a lot of chefs in my city especially that have traveled across the world, you know, worked in Canada, traveled across the world, like very like big time guys. And the same thing that they tell me is like, the industry is just behind, and there's a lot of fixing to do. And you know what I mean? And it's just like, people just don't get compensated for their time. They're not respected for their time. And it's just, it's a very cooking is a very traditional, it's a very traditional like sort of culture. It's like, you know, you're if you fuck up, you're gonna have to suffer for that. Okay, you know what I mean? But that's just the attitude. But it builds what's the word? I don't even know the word I'm looking for. Camaraderie, you know, if that makes sense. Like it builds that. It builds, like, if your boys know that you can take the shit and kind of like suffer, they will respect you, because they know that you'll be there for them. And that's kind of, it's like the military. It's not the same, because we're not saving lives, and I know that we're not saving lives. You know what I mean? And we're not risking our lives necessarily, but in terms of like intensity, they actually did a research on that. Hey, Wilson.
But
They actually did like a clinical research of the stress levels between like an emergency, so you know, like the people in the ambulances and shit. They did the same, like they measured the stress levels between each other, and the cooks would be higher.
yeah.
But it's like, we're not saving lives though. That's a fucking shitty, crazy thing.
Wow.
It's like,
What a comparison, yeah.
but you know, it's a grubby industry, to say the least.
Got it. So Umami has a question.
For sure.
It says, what's your most embarrassing moment from your jobs, if there's any?
Wow, I have a lot. So so I have a fear of handling chicken. And anytime that chicken is sort of associated with me, I need to temp it at least 100 times, because my first job at my chain restaurant, we had a chicken sandwich, and I remember this. I still remember this to this day. I threw the chicken sandwich out, and this customer bit into it, and it was fucking raw. It was raw. And my my general manager loved me so much. He was so biased towards me because he would eat other people out, but he loved me for some reason. Like he like genuinely liked me as a person. So he brought back this this raw chicken sandwich that I can see like the teeth marks in. He brought it back, and I was 18 years old at the time. He brought it back. He puts it on the thing, and he's like, "Oh, Andre, by the way, it kind of came out a little raw. Could you just fire it up real quick, and like we can get it out to them?" And everybody was just like, "What the like?" He's supposed to give me shit for that, like
Yeah,
low
chew
key.
you out.
But everybody was just like, why was Kyle so nice about that? Like Kyle likes you a little way too much. And I was like, no problem, Kyle, I got you. I just served raw chicken to a guest and I could have probably killed them. And I was just like, give me 8 minutes. Give me 8 minutes. I was like, what the fuck? Like I was so embarrassed. I was like, so oh, and one time actually at that same job, we don't have like changing rooms. So we have lockers where people tend to change, but it was like right in front of like the washrooms where you like tight, like super tight closeted space, right? And I was wearing, fuck, I can't even believe I'm telling the story, but I was wearing Batman boxers to work because all of my boxers were like in the fucking, like it was getting cleaned, right? So I was like, fuck, like I have to steal boxers from my brother, my like 13-year-old brother at the time. So I was wearing Batman boxers to work. I was like, fuck. And I was changing, right? And it was the end of my shift. I was like pulling up my pants and the zip gets stuck like under my nuts, like low key. And this waitress comes around the corner. She just looks at me and she was like, she was really attractive. I had a crush on her, and I was just like, I'm like, sorry. And she was like, it's okay. She was like super cool about it. She was like, it's okay, it's fine. And I'm like, standing there with Batman boxers, with my nuts caught in a zip. I'm like, okay. And I like just turn around. I'm just like, oh, I was like fucking trying to fix my thing. I was like, oh my god, man. This is so bad. It was so embarrassing. That was pretty embarrassing. Yeah. Man, I wish you never asked that. Whoever that was, I wish you never asked that question.
TTV.
Mommy, man, I'm so embarrassed. These stories are so bad. Yeah, that's pretty up there. That's pretty up there.
All right. Few more questions I could think of. What's like the greatest, or like what injuries have you gotten throughout your life? I'm sure there's some from cooking.
No, no, from cooking I've only really cut and burned myself.
Okay.
But at this point I'm really like kind of so desensitized that sometimes it freaks me out because I could literally have like I get constantly, because I handle the fryer a lot, and I just at both of my jobs I have a fryer at both of my jobs, and I constantly get fryer burns like every single day, like at levels where like normal people would be like, this is like this is like literally like not tolerable. Like normal people would be like, you're getting burned so much, like there's no way like anyone could do this as a day-to-day thing, and I just eat it up at this point. I get a lot of cuts on my hands and stuff, just slips, but I don't really have injuries. My one of my metacarpals, my hand, so this one right here,
Yeah.
is actually bent, and I never went to the hospital for it. So it healed as a bent little thing, little bone. But I remember I like hammer fisted my my desk this one year because I was like really pissed about a situation, and I broke my hand. So yeah, that was a thing.
Gotcha.
That was a thing.
All right. I guess to conclude the like work and cooking aspects. So since you don't specifically have like a favorite thing to cook, do you have like a dish that you were just so proud of like being able to lay out and create
Proud of.
your best dish? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one thing to cook and it's one thing to put something on a menu. And so I worked for like this small business actually, like at the same farmers market. They're not there anymore, which makes me really sad. But I used to get paid a pretty amount of money for what I actually did. I didn't actually cook. I didn't actually prep anything. I kind of served more. And so a lot of the stuff was like readily prepared. But you know, it gave me a sense of like a managerial role, I guess, of like how to like run shit. And then like I was able to like just make my own menu item like one day. You know, I was like, let's just make like this like I think this was like this like house made sausage and like a special like house made like bun or some shit, and it was like very like a rustic looking, like it was just like so like yeah. And like I thought of that and they were like, that's awesome, let's put it on the menu. And I think that was like the first moment of like, that's super cool, like that was like really cool, you know. Like an idea like that, I was like, kind of made me a little cheeky, you know. I was like, when I talk to customers I would be like, yeah, that was my idea, you know. But yeah, that was a special moment because anything could happen, I guess.
Awesome. All right. We've got through childhood, school, and work. Yeah. All right. Before we get into the next one, yeah. I'm gonna grab a snack real quick.
Okay, I'm like pissed. Oh.
Yeah. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back, chat. We'll be back.
Yeah, ice, man.
Snacks like right here. Got me some Cheetos. All right. Prez, I got you. I'm gonna ask him about you right now. Welcome back, Mike. You got a sec. Oh my god, Michelle, I just realized what you said. Sriracha, what's up, man? Welcome in. How's it going? Yo, Swag, welcome in as well. Welcome back, guys. Coma. Yeah, I was like, what snack? I just realized that. Coma. Thanks for the lurky lurk. Appreciate you. I got some hot Cheetos, guys. So I'm gonna let Dre do his thing. Keep it a little clean while I'm eating. So I'm gonna use chopsticks for my hot Cheetos. Yeah. I have not played that before.
You don't know how much I'm loving this right now.
Dude, I'm glad. This is so chill.
It's like therapy right now.
Thanks, Mike, for multitasking. Alright, so before I talk about that specific topic, relationships and heartbreak.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So you might want to drink for that. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
We got more people tuning in, so thank you guys for being here. Remember, exclamation guest to see his channel. Drop him a follow. All right. How'd you meet Trez? How'd you develop? How'd you develop a relationship, and what do you really think of him?
Oh, this is the romance section?
No, it's right before the romance section, but Trez was here asking.
No, it is the romance section.
Oh, okay.
I love him. I love him to death. I love him to death. He's man, he's sort of someone I've always kind of gravitated towards naturally, and it kind of felt very special to me because, you know, I'm very about like just one-on-one, in person type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like meeting people in person. I'm not really, you know what's crazy? Before Twitch, I actually did not play like, I grew up as a kid like playing like Halo. Obviously, like I'd touch like some Call of Duty, some Minecraft, but I was never like into it as other people. So I stopped like playing games. I don't know, when I was like in junior high, like literally middle school, like grade 7. Um, and then after high school, like I just picked it up like the past year, like since COVID. And um Trevor has always been like that guy where it's like he's like, what do you do? It's just like, I'm just me. Like I'm not really good at like games and stuff. He's like, that's cool. You want to like talk about life and girls and like, you know what I mean? Like talk about the craziest stuff. And he's sort of been like not, I want to say sort of someone I could come to, sort of like a role model in that sense of like, I can always come to him and ask for advice, and he's never judged me at all. He's never judged me. He's never, you know, acted sourly or weird about anything that I've had to say. But we've always just had a really good connection from the jump. And it's special, man. Like I really think like, you know, the second I haven't met him yet, but the second I meet him, man, it's gonna be life changing for both of us because we're just meant to be homies for life, man. Like brothers for real. He means a lot to me.
He says, I want to make out.
No, he does, man. He does. He means a lot to me. And yeah, out of a lot of relationships out of Twitch, like I can say wholeheartedly, like, man, like it's probably the strongest relationship I've made out of Twitch, to be honest. Like, and that says a lot because, you know, I've met like Loma, like I love Loma to death. You know, she's my shooter, but Trevor, like, man, like I can't wait to meet him. Can't wait to get to know him even more. And just yeah, I just feel like we get each other on a different level, I guess. Not to make it weird. That's
beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's just I love him to death, man. I love him to death.
There you go, Trez. All right, let's talk about relationships and heartbreak. Let's start from the beginning and just go down the line. We could talk about crushes, whatever, dates, anything you want to talk about, whatever you're comfortable with.
I'll start off with this. I've never been in a serious relationship in my whole life. It's funny because when I tell people, they're like, oh, like what have you been through, like, you know, like what have you done? It's like, I don't have relationships, I have like relations. Okay. Like I have relations towards people. So yeah, I've never been in a serious relationship because I've never felt like I've ever been in like a situation that I could take seriously, and I've never felt committed enough towards anything. I've never felt, you know what I mean? I've never felt a lot of things. That's just me, I guess. Very selective, I guess. But I've had relations. Very down bad moments for sure.
Oh yeah, we could talk about all of those, man.
Where do you want to start?
The first one. Anything, crushes, whatever, throughout your school and then after.
You know what's crazy? Like, I think one thing that stuck with me to this day, which is crazy because I didn't really think it stuck with me to this day, but I had a family friend named Adriana that I still know to this day. She actually lives in Vancouver with her boyfriend and stuff like that, but she was a family friend. I had a crush on her like the whole time. The whole time.
How old were you when you met her?
I want to say, I don't even know. Like, I've known her for a minute. Like, we've known each other since we were like probably 13.
Wow. All right.
And so we used to go on like family friend trips, you know, to like Kelowna, like British Columbia. We used to always like have time to get together. So I spent a lot of time with her and stuff like as a kid. And you know, obviously I was like, oh yeah, I have a crush on her, whatever, whatever. She knows that. Anyways, I had a crush on her, but you know, I knew it's like, she doesn't like me like that, so I respect that, it's whatever. But through her, I met one of her best friends at a time, like in 8th grade. Her name was Chantel. God bless her, man. God bless her. She was like this unwavering force of positivity and like innocence and um just good, just good. The level of good to this day, like, well, that still kind of reminds me of how to be grateful, to be thankful, which is crazy, right? Because it's like 8th grade, like it means nothing, like in terms of relationship wise, it meant nothing, right? But in terms of just like the person she's always been, and I hope she is to this day, like she taught me a lot. I was like, wow, like shit. I was like, damn, you're cool as fuck. But at
Nice.
the time, I was kind of a demon mode because I tend to every moment I let's say like I'm cuffed in a sense. I get bored like literally like 3 weeks max. Like that's just who I am as a person. Like let's say like I have a thing with a girl, or even like I'm like with a girl.
Hmm.
Um, after 3 weeks, I'm like for real. Like I'm just like I've already accomplished the goal. This is kind of boring. And I don't mean to sound like cocky, and I don't mean to sound like a dick about it. I'm just like telling you like straight up 100%.
Realistic.
Like
Yeah.
no, like that's like who I am, and I wish it was different. Like I wish I could commit you know what I mean? Like I wish I could commit. I wish I could give more. But that's who I am, right? Like I just can't change how I feel. And so, you know, I think for me it's like it's not really about like falling for somebody. It's just like, oh, I see something like, oh, that's cool, like this is an exciting experience, she's cute, she likes me, whatever, whatever. We do the thing, we get the deed done, we do whatever, and then it's like, oh, I guess we're together in a sense. I'm just like, I'm not really down for that. So that's literally kind of the same thing. Like I don't think I've ever really got my heart broken, which is so fucking sad. Which is so sad because I tell people like all the time, it's like, damn, I'm like down bad. I'm just lonely. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
bored. But I've never ever been in like a like an elite level of like relationship. Like, cause I'm told stories, like crazy stories where like guys or like my homegirls, like they're in like these like crazy relationships for like 2 3 years, like 5 years, and like they break up and it's just like nothing to them. I'm like, that's insane. It's like there's cheating or something, there's like lies and shit. I'm like, yo, like that would ruin me as a person, to be honest. But for me personally, like I've had like many relations, I've had like stints with people, but I think one thing I'm glad for is just that I've always kept a distance, and I've kept myself kind of like good with like not being like messed up over anybody like that. Like not to say I've never been like down bad, like oh my god, like this girl's perfect. Like as a kid, like everybody was like that, right? Like everyone's like, oh my god, I love. But I've always grown like as a person, and that's always reflected in the relationships I've had. Like I've always prioritized friendship. That's why like in like high school and to this day, like I'm really tight with like a lot of girls. Like that's who I am. Like I'm really tight with a lot of girls, and a lot of my guy friends are like, are you dating this girl? Are you you know what I mean,
Hmm.
effing this girl? Like I'm like, no, like no, like it's not like that. Like who I am is like I prioritize the friendships. But I don't know, if you don't seem right, I don't really like vibe with you in that sense. It's hard for me to vibe with anybody, even if they're like hot. Like I've had pretty attractive people talk to me. And I'm like, yeah, like I don't know, man. Like I'm not into like that, which is like super weird. I know, but it's true. Like I'm not gonna say it's not true. People give me shit about it all the time. I'm just like my own person, I guess, in that sense.
Umami says it's better not to be heartbroken from relationships.
Well, yeah, and you know what? It correlates with the fact that I'm a very rational thinker, and yeah, I'm a super rational thinker. So towards like things that I feel and I can rationally like do the math on, it's like, is this does does feeling this way contribute to my life immediately or even in the next 5 years? Is this important? Is this, you know what I mean? Like, that's the questions that I ask towards a lot of things. You know what I mean? In life, I'm like very rational in that sense. Like, do I need this? It's like, is this necessary? Does this grow me? Does this build me? Does this, improve me, uplift me, inspire me, motivate me? If it doesn't hit certain boxes or even like one box or enough boxes, it's not worth my time. So, you know what I mean? That's just who I am as a person, I guess. And it's obviously affected the way I approach romance and female. But yeah, I'm just straightforward. I'm a pretty easy book to read, I guess.
So do you have like anything you want to share, even though it's not relationships but relations, down bad stories, whatever comes across your mind worth mentioning?
Okay, I'll tell you this story. Okay, so I think it was like end of 2019, end of 2018, sort of like 2019. I somehow like found this like girl's Instagram, and her profile was like pretty, and it was at the time where I was like into white girls. I'll tell you this right now, I'm not attracted to white girls. I love Asians.
Asians,
no racial, no bias, nothing personal, but like I genuinely like, I am like I love Asians. Anyways, I used to be into like white girls, like for the most part, you know what I'm saying? White girls were cool. So at the time I found this like white girl's like Instagram. I was like, okay, like whatever, like let me just follow you right quick. And I did everything to not seem like a creep. But then like I found out like her Instagram, I added her Instagram. She added me back. That's cool. Never really like hit her up, whatever. Like, I didn't like try to hunt her down or nothing. But a few months passed and stuff, and if you have me on Snapchat, if you're blessed enough to have me on Snapchat, I just keep it real. So I put like a lot of shit on my Snapchat. I put like cooking stuff. I put my personal opinions. I put like my experiences, just because like I like to be like very transparent, and I like to have that as memories too, of like how I felt at that very moment is like important to me to like remember. So I like always, I'm so quick to like, I have a hot hand of like putting shit on my story and stuff like that. But I remember like this girl like that I followed like 6 months later, she was like single as fuck, and she would like hit me up. She was like, oh my god, like this food looks like so good. This food like looks so delicious. I'm like, thanks, yo. Like, I'm not really like even interested in you at that point, but like, you know what I mean? I was like, thank you. Like, you're hot. Like, thank you. Like, I appreciate it. And then it just kind of spiraled out of control, where it's like we got to know each other, and then yeah, like we'd link up, whatever. But the thing is, it's crazy because like I obviously realize now, like she just wanted to smash like every single time. And who I am as a person, one, I don't pick up signals because I'm fucking wholesome, straight up. And like I'm respectful, straight up. But like this one time, she literally like, I knew, like obviously it was like, okay, like she's trying to fuck, like okay, whatever. And like fucking on my life, yo, I'll share this right now, on my life, yo, I could not even get like excited if to put it in basic terms. Could not get excited, could not be just was not down for the moment. She was just doing all she could. I was just like, no, little guy is not coming up today. And that was just like so funny. Like I was like, fuck. Like it's not about even just like, the thing is, it's like for a lot of guys it's like, oh, like I struggle about like getting girls. Oh, and then I look at myself like, okay, I can get girls, but it's whether or not I actually fuck with these girls. And that's kind of shittier than just getting girls. You know what I mean? Like not even fucking with the girls that you get, if that makes sense, right? Like it's like I need a good girl in my life, for real. if there's anyone out there, yo, I'm single as fuck.
There you go.
Shoot a shot, for real. But yeah, that's just me, man. Like people, I don't know. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds silly, but it's just who I am. At the end of the day, I can't change that. I'm trying to like.
What's up, Coma? Yes, Dre is very handsome.
Who said that?
Comalytics.
Oh, you think I'm handsome? Thank you.
This baby cakes is buzzed. Okay, okay.
Oh, that's very handsome. I can't even read this shit.
It's okay.
But
Any
yeah,
other stories or moments?
in terms of like relations, yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know, like this one girl in high school, I like did not even really have like a serious relationship. I had a relationship with her. She turned out to be lesbian. I was like, shit, turn this
Wait,
girl into a
what?
I turned this girl into a lesbian. Oh my god. But I felt better about it because Drake dropped a song where he's like, she says she a lesbian girl, me too. I was like, straight up.
Oh my
That
god.
correlates to my life.
That was the same, like, similar story to the guest from last night.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Or at least kind of
That's the
like
worst.
fell
That's
for
the
someone who
worst.
is lesbian. Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, no, I was pretty down bad for that girl. She turned out to be lesbian. I was like,
Mhm.
sheesh. She say she a lesbian girl, me too. Facts. But yeah, no, I just never really. Obviously, there's like, like situations and like kind of bullshit that I like would be too serious to mention right now, to say the least. Trying to keep the vibes up, but yeah.
Whatever
If
you want to
it's-
express, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing, I've never had like a serious relationship. I've only had relations, but I don't feel like I've missed out because when you're young and stuff, I've realized like people have had like those crazy relationships when they're mad young. It never turns out. But the ones that do, it's like God bless them. Like that's beautiful, right? But for me, it's just like I don't really like care about that shit. I care about grinding and shit. I just lost my keys for real.
Oh shoot.
Anyways, yeah. No, I just prioritize. Like I tell my boys, like my boys always come to me and they're always like, "Oh shit, Dre, like you befriend like some girls. Like how do you do it? Or like how do you meet girls? Like in that sense, like how do you meet? Like how do you even meet more girls? Cause like I'd be like just like meeting girls all the time. And I'm like, I think the key is just like you have to have something in common with like not even just girls. Like if you want to meet anybody, like make friends or like build relationships with anybody, it's like you have to have something in common. So it's like, let's say for example, like you go to the same coffee shop every day for a month, it's like you're gonna see the same the same people, you know what I mean? And so it's like it's one of the things where it's like at that point it's like you can go up to that person at the cafe and just be like, hey, I see you all the time, this is not weird, like what do you get, you know what I mean? And it's like for me it's like I've met a lot of people through the work I've done. Like every time I work I meet so many people and I build my network and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
for me, I've never prioritized relationships or even like hookups. That's not me. That's not me. I've made many mistakes. Especially when I'm like whiskey drunk after the club. God damn.
Oh shit.
One's in chat if you eat ass, for real. Just joking. Just joking.
Whoa. Got it. Anyways, so what does it mean when you're like on stream and you're saying, I need to find me like ABG? Are you actually trying to find, or are you just joking around?
It's a mixture of just like I like obviously like I'm adult, like I like girls.
Yeah.
And I know like obviously like I like being around girls. But like that's just like an expression of like a superficial self, if that makes sense. And it's just so much more entertaining because it's hard to like break through a certain wall with people and just kind of connect like all the time and in like a deeper level. Like people are always surprised with like what I have to say. You know what I mean? Like people like tell me all the time, they're like, Jay, I didn't know you could even be this profound, or I didn't even know like you were this wise, or I didn't even know you like cared about shit like that. It's just because like for me it's like if I'm gonna make a moment more than it is, I'm just gonna say something ridiculous, and it's not necessarily a lie. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, is there any ABGs in the chat? It's like, obviously I wish there was ABGs every time I woke up. I wish there was ABGs in my bed when I woke up every night. Like, duh. But it's just, it's not serious. You know what I mean? Like, it's not serious. It just gets a reaction out of people. It makes people kind of go like, oh, that's fucking funny, yo. You know what I mean? Like I say just like funny stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to make it like kind of entertaining for people that just like wanna wanna have fun. Just like especially streaming, it's one of those things where it's like you want to get a reaction out of people in a sense sometimes, depending. Like if this is like a podcast forum, obviously I can just like be myself and say what I want, right?
Yeah.
But if you're doing certain things, like you look at it, you look in a big, you look the grand scheme of things, it's like you kind of need like people to react to what you say and what you do, and you need people to fall in love with who you are, and people fall in love with your character and your demeanor and your, you know, performance in a sense, right? Like it is like a lot of people that are successful, it's a true performance in my eyes, right? Like they get the reactions that they get because they're good at what they do. So I just take that in account when I'm personally streaming on my own stuff or even like the homie stuff. I'm like, how do we make this ridiculous? You know, and that's just true. It's like, how do we make this ridiculous? What can I say? And so we say it's like pretty ridiculous stuff, but we know like it's kind of just like it's the show. You know what I mean? Like it's the show. It's whatever. Like we're just drunk, we're just having fun, but it's never to a point where it crosses like any lines. You know what I mean? There's times where it's kind of like, oh, that was an iffy thing to say. But it's like we have no ill intent of like hurting people. You know what I mean? But we try to like get people fired up. We try to get people enticed. We try to like kind of like, you know, just be like, when I say like all girls are the same. It's like, why do you think I say all girls are the same? So to get all the girls to react, to be like, I'm not the same. To get you to talk, to get you to, you know what I mean? It's not that I'm trying to like take advantage. It's not, but it's just like, let's just make this more exciting. Let's just have this conversation. Let's argue about it. Fuck it. Like, let's just be ridiculous for like, you know what I mean? For however long that we can be ridiculous about, you know? So that's just how I see it. Like, but that's just how I've approached Twitch with like, you know, those guys. We just do like stupid
Oh yeah, we'll
stuff.
talk about Twitch in a bit. Yeah. For sure, man. So let's finish off other topics with the social aspects and stuff. Are you like, when did you start your partying phase, and are you still in it?
When did I start my partying phase?
Partying? Yeah, like super
Like
social and like events and stuff too.
Like in like when I've been grown, like in recent times, or
Yeah,
just,
let's
like...
do recent times since you mentioned that you drank a lot and stuff in high school.
Well, yeah, I know. I think I've So for me and for like, you know, it's known like drinking is just like a social thing, you know. So when I kind of took that seriously, like that concept that drinking is kind of a social thing, it's like, oh, you can kind of learn about people in these certain scenarios and these certain atmospheres, depending on where you are and depending what you're doing. You're like kind of lit, but you can make connections with them, right? Like you can sort of network, I guess. And I kind of realized like I'm kind of in love with like this whole like partying shit, to be honest. So like when I learned like there's so like I've met so many people just like being lit, like smoking you know what I mean, like go for a smoke break outside a club and you're just like, can I borrow a dart? You get to know people. It's a beautiful thing. It's just a social thing. And so when I realized it was a social thing, I was like, damn, like maybe this is an opportunity to just like, I don't know, not necessarily like get anywhere, but like just kind of like what can I find out? You know, it's kind of like an experiment, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what can I find out about people? And I found out about like some crazy shit. There's things I can't even speak about. But you meet some crazy people out in the club sometimes. But yeah, no, for me it was the social aspect, not necessarily even being drunk. Because there's times where, you know, when I was younger, I would just, you know, my goal was just to black out, you know. But you know, now it's more of, sorry, I keep hitting my mic.
You're fine.
Now it's just not necessarily about being like, oh, like I don't have to be like the littest in the room. I just want to talk to people sometimes. I want to connect in that sense. I want to, you know, put people in a not a vulnerable state, but like in a state where they're comfortable of like sharing this stuff, and it's like very open, it's very real, you know, and it's just like raw, like sometimes you just don't get certain things out of people because they don't know how to communicate like that. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Gotcha. Are you big on like raving in clubs right now?
Dude, I want to so bad, bro. I want to so bad. I was big into the club scene. So yeah, after work I'd always go to a club, or on the weekends I would always go to a club. I'd blow like 300,
Mm-hmm.
$500, like straight up, like no cap, like $300, $500 one night, like fucking insane amounts of money. And I kind of, fell out of love from the club scene because of COVID, which was one of the positives, I guess, for just my personal, because I had a lot of time to think about who I was as a person during like lockdown when it first hit. And I was like, damn, like I'm kind of a shitty person, to be honest. I was like, damn, all I really care about is going insane every weekend and doing like mad, like crazy stuff, like mad, you know. But I've grown out of it, and now I can say like that's not my priority to go absolutely insane, but I still kind of enjoy the scene. But raves, I have not been in a rave yet. But I want to go to a rave so it's crazy because like Lily, so a lot of people on Twitch are like super big into that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when I learned that everybody was like super big into that scene, I thought raves were kind of like, oh, that's super, like everybody loves raves. Like I thought, like I had that like kind of perspective, like everybody loves raves. And then I realized is like a lot of people don't really fuck with raves, but a lot of people do fuck with raves. You know what I mean? It's just like I realized that, but I'm down as fuck. I don't really like EDM like that. I don't really like that music. I always give Lily a hard time because she likes hard style and shit like that. I make fun of her. I'm like, what the fuck's a hard style, yo? But yeah, and I'm down for a rave though. I'm down to get crazy.
For sure. Kai just dropped by. Al Kai Rooters. He's like,
Hey,
damn, is that Dre?
How are you? How you doing?
And Umami asked, have you ever considered being a club promoter at one time in your life?
Yeah, I have because you know, it's crazy. I've considered a lot of careers in my life. I've considered like things that seem cool to me, but it's always been hard to kind of dive into because I've never had that like opportunity. Like you ever like think of like a cool career or a cool job, like, oh, that seems like something I do, but you're not in that position to dive into. And so with club promoting, I'm like, yeah, I love hella clubs, and I'm really big into music. Like I used to like make music and shit. So with club promoting, like I used to Justin Bieber's promoter, like Scooter Bronson or whatever his name is. So like I used to read up on him. So I'm like a student towards like a lot of like different crafts, and so whether it be like different sports or like different like music or like different industries, I'm a student. So I used to read up on Scooter a lot, and he would like tell stories about how he got into, because he used to be a club promoter too, right? And so he used to go to like the university campuses, and he used to get like all the hottest chicks to like hand out flyers. And like he got a deal one night, like he like influenced like a club like owner, and he'd be like, yo, if I get like 500 people like that night, like will you give me some money? Like, and he's like, sure, like if you do it. And then he got like more than 1,000 people out that night. Like those stories, I thrive off that stuff. Like I thrive off like stuff like that. Like those are so down to earth stories. Like you know what I mean? Like underdog. Like and Scooter Brunson's worth like millions now, man. Like and so I've considered a lot of like different paths, but the opportunity for cooking just came first, I guess.
Umami said you should sing us a song.
Oh, but I'm drunk right now. I can't sing nothing.
Right.
I'm kind of lit right now. No cap.
All good. You're like a confident drunk, right? How would you describe yourself? Like as
a drunk?
Yeah.
Man, anything goes.
Anything goes? All right.
I think anything goes because it really like I don't know, like if I'm communicating with somebody and I know that like I have to match like what, like, you know what I mean, like whatever their demeanor is.
The energy, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll match that. Like I'll match that easily, but if you leave me to my own devices to say that I don't like get into my own head a lot, like I do. Like that's just facts. But I know how to control it. I know how to look past it. I know how to deal with it. But yeah, like I thrive off when I'm drunk. I just thrive off just being. I have to be around like people that uplift me. Because
Mhm.
if I don't, then I'm just like not in good space. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, I'll drink a little bit of little bit of drink with Wilson, because Wilson is such a positive. Like I see you as like a positive force. Just so unwavering. You know, you just don't get anything past you, man, and I really respect that. It's really influenced me to be more optimistic. So to say the least, I really appreciate what you do, man, and who you are every single day.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man, seriously. Yeah.
So, does that mean you're not gonna sing?
I don't know about singing right now, man. I don't know about singing right now.
Alright, Umami.
But
Let's-
Umami, if you want to add me on Discord, you can add me on Discord. I'll send you a little video just for you. I'll send you a little video. I'm gonna treat
Little
you right.
video. Okay. So let's talk about what are your current aspirations and goals?
Current aspiration goals. I think
Trev says sing now.
I think my current aspirations and goals is to be. You know, it's crazy because you asked me this question. I thought about this exact question the other day. It's to just be the best version of myself, because I think if you put your best foot forward towards trying to be the best version of yourself, that kind of trickles into anything that you do. And not to say that like, yeah, like your work comes second, and it's not to say like anything comes second, but you have to prioritize your own foundation, if that makes sense. And I've realized that it's like I can't be the best at my job if I'm not 100% confident in who I am, if I'm not 100% confident in my skills, if that makes sense, right? So it really comes down to, you know, just, you know, loving yourself, having confidence in yourself, caring for yourself. I think that's especially one thing that I struggle with, like self-care, like giving myself rest, drinking water, you know, like even little things like, you know, decisions and the words that I say. It even comes down to the words that I say, you know, because there's things that, you know, I think it's about recognizing like saying and doing the things that align you and straying away from saying and doing things that rip you apart. And it's an everyday struggle, right? So I focus on just trying to be the best version of myself, and not even necessarily worrying about like my career or worrying about like how people see me as, or you know what I mean. Like if I'm talking to a girl, I don't really worry about how they feel like that. It's just I gotta be the best me, and if people don't like it, that's okay.
Gotcha.
That's, you know, that's okay.
Alright, let's talk about traveling and adventure. Where have you been to and where do you want to go in the future?
Man, I haven't been to fucking shit.
Ah,
I haven't
alright.
been to shit, man. No, not to say like my family has done their best to give me experiences. You know, we've been to certain places across Canada, certain provinces for weddings or trips. Bless them. You know, a lot of driving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been to Las Vegas a couple times. I've been to Disneyland a couple times, like Anaheim and shit, random ass places. You know what I mean? Like, um, Montreal, obviously, but I've never really like traveled out of my own like,
Yeah,
you know, choice and stuff like that.
but
So
you
that's a
would.
big that's a big goal. That's a big goal,
Oh, there you
actually.
go.
Yeah, that's a big goal for just you know, coming back to what I was saying about like being your own person is like, obviously, you know, I used to have like bigger goals of like traveling, but now it's just like it didn't seem realistic back then, but like now it's like, damn, you're an adult, like you can like literally do what you want to do and go where you want to go, right? So now I've realized the past like several months, ever since I even got into Twitch, like a lot of people on Twitch like talk to me about traveling, and I didn't understand the importance of it. Like even my dad told me, like my dad has told me my whole life, it's like, yo, like go see the world, like go travel, go experience, you know, like you're young, like do it, do it, do it. And I never understood why, but then it's like there's so much things I haven't seen, there's so many places I don't understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to very badly, like even if I went to Cali or Hawaii, like, and for me it's not necessarily about like the place in itself. I think it's about the connections I can make. um and that's very important to me. That's very special, that I make connections with people everywhere that I go.
Nice, nice. All right. Oh, by the way, more people dropped by. Lex, welcome back. Emma, hello. Hi, guys.
Hi guys, let's talk to chat for a minute. What the fuck are they saying? I can't read shit, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, you don't have your glasses. I'm doing good. Just waiting for time to start work. Oh, okay. Thanks for tuning in, though, Emma.
Thank
You should
so
change
much.
your category to podcast, dude. I didn't even know there was a podcast category.
I didn't even know that either.
What?
Those are just chatting.
I've been doing just chatting for like 14. I've done it 14 times. Talk show and podcast. Okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll do that. Talk show and podcast. Thanks, Lex. I had no idea.
Out of legs.
Wow. It's not done yet.
Christina follows me, eh?
All right, let's move on. Oh yeah.
She follows.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about streaming now. How did you hear about Twitch and get into streaming?
So, when I was a kid, I was super big into like obviously like content creating. I thought that was like a dream job. I think that was everyone's dream job. If you're on Twitch, you kind of, you kind of grew up on YouTube, or you grew up on the internet. You kind of looked up to, those people that you watch growing up. So I used to watch a lot of people on YouTube, and it kind of inspired me to be creative and just have fun, because I thought, wow, like they're able to be creative and have fun and get money, like that was a big thing. Like money has always been a concept like that I've gravitated towards since I was young, right? So obviously when I was young, I was like, oh man, I want to be in YouTube, and I kind of fell out of love with that, like gaming and YouTube, like content creating. I was like, that's not gonna happen, right? Whatever, like let's be realistic, you can be a millionaire somewhere else, but I got into Twitch during COVID because one of my closest homies, JJ, at JachiJ on Twitch, please go send him a follow if you'd like. He's a cool guy. But when he first got into Twitch, he was already kind of growing like friends and stuff, and there's a lot of like background history between like where we started, where we came from. But essentially, he did his Twitch stuff during quarantine. So since I couldn't see him, and since I couldn't spend time with like a lot of the guys at the time, back last year, I was like, I want to help you out. I had no intention of streaming. I wanted to just kind of be like supportive and sort of like manage like what he wanted to do, because obviously for me, I'm very ambitious. So I was like, I'd tell him all the time, like, man, you could be big. You have a taste sometimes of like, you do a stream, you have a taste, you're like, oh, I could like make this, real for me. And I think that's still true for everybody, no matter how big you are, whether you have like 2 viewers or 10 viewers or 100 viewers, you can be special, and you could be whoever you want to be if you put your head down and work towards it. So that was my kind of mindset at the time. I tell him like, I tell him like, JJ, like, man, like, let's do it, like let's take it seriously, like let's network, let's make friends. And we spent quarantine like that 6 months or whatever months, like we back-to-back months, back-to-back days, we would just we would make more friends, we would join discords, we would be in people's chats. We would invite people over Discord. We'd make like themes for like streams. We would every single day we grinded so hard. And I think, obviously we're not like stars, but we've built like this community which I'm very proud of. Like we've built this tight knit community that there's people that I feel like I've known, like I'll never just like lose touch with those people. But yeah, so slowly after I like supported JJ in his stream, I was like, okay, I may as well try. And it was just like, it just felt so natural, man. Like it was so weird because like the first time you go live, you're like, what the fuck am I doing, right? Like, can you relate to that? Where you're like,
Yeah, of
like
course.
how was your first time you went live? Like how did that go down?
Dude, I don't even remember at this point. I had friends there, so.
Right, and
you're
it
just
kind of
chatting with friends.
it takes its own course, right? Like you kind of just be like, oh hey, like
Uh-huh.
some people pop by and stuff, but it's crazy. Like I went live. I remember like Tina is a beautiful individual, and I love you, girl. And I literally, my third or fourth, one of my first streams, man, like I had my scuff. I didn't even have a good PC at the time. I had a scuff PC, and like I was playing Phasmophobia because it was popping at the time, and it was like super laggy. And Tina came by and she was like, hi, because I promoted my like stream on like someone's Discord. She came by and she's been there for me like every single step of like growing my channel. Like it's one of those things where it's like, wow, like you're a special person, like for doing that, like giving me a shot, like even like that. And that's why I got hooked. I'm like, wow, like people care out there, yo, and people actually like you for who you are. And that's special. That's very, very special to me. And so yeah, that's how I got into it. I just threw myself out there. I would make friends residually when I joined JJ on his streams, and then when I went live, they would like come and like say what's up and bring their own homies, and it was just such a crazy time, like insane, because I do in my living room. My parents like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, yo, I'm trying to like grind right now. I'm trying my best,
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Gotcha. So how'd you come up with the name Dre's Day Off?
Well, I used to be Dre2Jiggy. Yeah. So my original name was Dre2Jiggy. That was just kind of a name I thought was like kind of unique. I like ASAP Rocky. Jiggy. I'm a Jiggy guy. Dre2Jiggy, and everyone kind of like, I think that was a very like iconic name because people like kind of fucked with it. But I felt like changing it because where I'm at now, it's like I'm barely on this platform. A lot of my friends don't stream as much, and so I want to like kind of make it evident, like, if I'm on, I'm on because I got free time.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just be true to myself. I wanted it to represent a lot more, And so it's like, why is his name Dre's Day Off? What does that even mean? It's like I work hella, like I work hella, and I'm a chef, and so, I wanted to express that clearly, but I kind of want to transition into more content. Like I want to set up, like I want to get better gear. I want to do cooking streams, but it's a day-to-day mission. It's like I gotta really, outside of this like streaming stuff, I really have to solidify like where the house is, like my roommates, my work, make sure everything's straight, and the house isn't even where we want it to be, so I can't just jump into making like cooking streams when I want to. But it's a process, and my roommates know that I want to do the cooking stuff, and they're so supportive, so I'm really glad about that. They love that stuff.
So what current categories do you stream, and what's your current schedule?
I started off doing like random. I used to go on like the Steam thing, and I used to download like all these like really like these free very bad games, and I'd like stream that. And then I was like, okay, I really like Apex. Let me stream Apex 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, every week for like 4 months. Like I used to just grind Apex, like, and people are like, "Why do you like Apex? Like it's giving me a headache. Please play Valorant." And it became a thing where like Dre hates Valorant. Oh my God, when is he gonna play Valorant? When is he gonna play Valorant? And you know what's funny? Funny story.
What's up?
I wanted to troll my stream, so I told Trevor to share his Discord screen as he was playing Valorant, and I put my cam in front of it, and so it looked like I was playing Valorant, and it looked literally real. Like it looked legit, and we laughed so hard because all the other boys were like watching my stream and were like, "Oh my God, this guy is such an idiot." And I was like, "It's easy for me." I'm like, this game's so easy." And Trevor's like, "Oh, I can't believe I'm so bad." I can't believe I'm so bad. But yeah, it's been a trip.
Let's talk about when you realized you started growing and getting somewhere with Twitch, and just like how you're feeling about Twitch right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like obviously there was a point where like you kind of like build traction and you're like, "Oh, I can make this into something," right? Like it, when you get attention, it's always new to you. So it was new to me. I was like, "Oh, like these guys, like everyone, like I felt like, oh, people are following me. This is awesome. I'm building connections. This is super cool. Like let's keep it going. Let's keep it going." But it's harder. It's harder, than you think, you know. It's easier said than done to really grow, to really be independent in a sense of just being a content creator. So, I always tell people that I never treated my stream as a production, and I still don't, carry myself as a production. I'm just me. But it always felt important and it always felt special when I knew that I connected with someone, and I could never disregard the special moments I've made with people. I made like very special moments with people and they'd share like very personal things, and they'd message me outside of the stream, and we got to know each other, and the fact that I could even connect with someone across the world and be there for them and sort of uplift them and try my best to get them right, like get them feeling better and support them, and that was very special. And I think that was the difference for me. It was never about the follower count or the viewer count. It was about recognizing that I affected a lot of people, on a personal level, and it's one thing to like be poppin', you know what I mean, like having chat go crazy, you can't even read chat, right? Like being like super famous, but I'm so proud of just the relationships I've made. I'm so proud of just like it's just so beautiful to me, and it's so important to me. And yeah, and how I feel about it now, I think for a while, I felt kind of unmotivated. I felt sort of not like, oh, I don't, it was never like, oh, I hate Twitch. It was more like it's like, why? It's like, why would I do it, like in terms of where I'm at in my life, because I'm so caught up in my own stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But going back to recognizing that people care about me, I think that was it. And that's why I can't give it up. I think that's the only reason I really ever, when you see me live, it's not because like I want to go live for nothing. It's because I want to see the people that have always been there for me, that have always like, I have like 9 month subscribers. I'm like, yo, you are the homie for this. Like there's guys like are just so generous. It's so sorry, I'm like slurring and shit. Generous and just so giving and so kind, and there's nothing I could do to repay them. That's sometimes I think like how even for your kindness, for your time to even listen to me ramble for 6 hours and you're still in chat. It's like insane. It was absolutely crazy.
Gotcha. So, have you ever dealt with hate or trolls on Twitch? If so, how'd you respond?
Mm, for sure. I've gone through that, but for me, it's for other people, it's kind of hard to just like hit like a ban on people. It's been easy for me because it wastes less time for me, and I'm less annoyed. So I'll just do it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how my attitude has always been. I don't know. I'm just not. I don't really tolerate. I have a good radar on the trolls, and I have a good radar on people that kind of just wanna piss me off, I guess. You know, sometimes because you can tell between like the people that like are just going to like different streams and like trolling, and then you can tell that like there's someone in your chat that's like watching you and like trying to like get a reaction out of you. And so I'm very keen on that. I'm a sniper on that. So it's like, you know, I'm not giving them anything. So I'm just fast with it. I got a quick trigger, so get them out of there. That I'm not gonna let them ruin my vibe. But
Yeah.
no, it's never gone to any ridiculous extents. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite memory or a favorite stream that you've had so far?
A favorite memory. That is a good question, yo. Um, this is probably one of my favorites right now. This is super special to me. Um,
Wait, what?
mm,
This?
this right now, yeah.
Oh
This right here.
shoot! Thanks.
Yeah, this right here is super cool to me. I love this. Favorite memory, man. There's so many different ones, man. There's so many. I think anytime, honestly, like anytime I'm with the guys that I've kind of grew on Twitch with, is just so special. Um, you know, shout out Trevor, shout out Shono, shout out Ace, Hawaii Boys, uh, Tiff, fucking Nicole, and then the California guys, fucking Cruz, Nick, everybody. Like, I don't know, because we've had so many crazy moments, right? So it's hard for me to like pinpoint, but like, anytime that I'm like, anytime like if you were to see a clip with me and like the people that like spent time with me on Twitch, that's just I can't even. There's no rank, like there's no. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I can't.
Yeah.
It's just like amazing every single time. You know, the memories we share and the things that we do is just like super cool,
Mm.
super cool.
What advice would you give to new streamers and for those trying to like start up Twitch?
Make friends, for sure. I think that's what everybody kind of solidifies. Network, and not necessarily network to just like grow yourself as like some kind of like business or name. No, just like make friends. Find people that have the same interests. Find people that really that you want to be around. And you know, hopefully in return they like you, and that's kind of how you grow. You know, in anything, right? In any form of, you know, business, I guess. Because I can see it as like Twitch is like a business in a sense, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
want to grow, right? So it's the I think the purest form of marketing is just being genuine, having genuine connection with people. I think that's the most important thing. You know, it's one thing to have a name, it's one thing to be known for something, but it's another thing to have people experience what it's like to know you. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, how important is that? You know, it's like it's important that people know who you are. They know what your deal is. They know that you're a good person, and they respect you and they want to put you on and they want to support you. And that's important. I think that's the key, right? Like making friends, um, and just being there for people, especially like genuinely caring about what people have to say. When I'm in chat, I try my best, but you know, when I had more free time, I used to just always be in chat 24/7, boosting people, trying to always keep chat bumping, always try to the energy up. But my only advice is just be real with yourself. Never feel like you should pretend to be anything you're not. If people don't like you, they don't like you. A lot of people don't like me, so that's fun. But be yourself, embrace yourself, embrace what you have to offer, especially and recognize like what you're good at, recognize what people like about you, and be that for them, you know, for that however many hours you're live for. You know, if you want to make it worth your time, it's just like be the best version of yourself, I guess.
Awesome, man. All right, let's talk about your perspective inside of how you met Lily and how it led to the meetup and where
Oh
you,
my god.
yeah, where you guys stand now.
Did you have this loaded? Did you have this ready?
Yeah, of course.
You have so much, dude. You're so good at this.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
You're so good. You always have like questions ready to go. How I met Lily? Because she was friends with like Sho and like Trevor and them. So when I met them, as inevitable, I would be in Discord calls and stuff like that, and I was like, you know, I didn't think I would actually be like that good of friends with her at all. I'm gonna be quite honest. Like I was just like, oh, she's just like another Twitch girl, and then you know, it just one thing led to another. But it's funny because it's just like what I said earlier about, you know, I'm so spontaneous. I'm so like in the moment, like trying to get people excited, trying to like get reactions and stuff in that sense. So like I would just build a narrative of this, like one day I was just like, yeah, Lily, I'm so in love with you. I literally just built that narrative, but I just like, to be honest, I'm not. I'm gonna be 100% honest. But like, well, I know Lily personally. We're really good friends. And she knows, like I told her, I was like, yeah, like back in the day, I'd like build that narrative where it's just like to make the streams a little bit more hyped. I'd just be like, I'd just be like, oh my god, like let me see my kid. And like to this day, I'm pretty confident people think like we have a child, like pretty sure. And like I just always like act like so down bad, and then you know what I mean, like it was just because like that's what people like to see. Like it's just funny, you know, and it's just hilarious. But I find it cool because she never found that weird, because I got to know her a lot. Like just we'd have like so many conversations over Discord calls and got to know each other even before we met in real life. But yeah, we just connected like hella. Like it was just natural in a sense of like we're just cool, you know, like we were just mad cool. We didn't have to like pretend to be anything we're not. We'd always just kind of hype each other up. I think we relate a lot on a lot of levels, but I think it was kind of weird when we like first like she kind of would like not flake. I don't want to say flake because it wasn't that. She wouldn't like flake, but I would just like constantly ask like, okay, like let's link here, let's link there, and it just like, wouldn't necessarily align. So there's like several instances of like, oh, I think I was gonna meet Lily. She was like, okay, maybe, like I'll try. And then but she ends up just being like, that's not gonna work out. But one day she was just like straight up like, let's go, like today's the day. And I was like, I met her and she was mad nervous because we knew how to text and like talk to each other like through, you know, technology like phone and like the PC. But she was mad nervous and she was like, yo, give me like 2 tequila shots like when I get there and stuff like that. But I don't think she was nervous for more than like 2 minutes, because like I was just real. Like it is what it is. Like I tried to not make it weird. And then we did karaoke that same night. It was cool.
Who's a better singer?
Lily.
Ah, okay.
Lily's a good singer. Yeah. She's good at singing. She goes hard in the paint.
Oh shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Good to know. Good to know.
We love Mariah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Mariah, got it. Have you met up with anyone else from Twitch?
I met Elaine. I don't know if you know Elaine Linney.
Oh, I don't think so.
He was on like a hella good course to be like super like successful, I think, because she would get like 40-50 viewers like average all the time. And then she just kind of like dropped it. And it's not for me to say why, but yeah, she just kind of I feel like she fell out of love with the whole streaming stuff, and respect that. It's whatever, but I don't know for sure if she's gonna come back and stream, but she hasn't streamed for a long time. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I met her. She's in my city. She's mad cool. I respect her. But yeah, I totally saw her as like someone that was gonna be like super successful.
At this, yeah.
Yeah, I think she was on a good route. It's all about consistency, right? And so
All
the
right.
second you stop being consistent, it just kind of fucks up, you know?
Let's transition to other social media. So what are you currently using right now? And you mentioned Snapchat, and I know you have Instagram, but you could talk a little more on whatever you use.
Yeah, I mean, Snapchat for me is the most personal kind of extension of myself, because I think I'm a very, as it's weird because like I like to keep to myself in terms of just like people really knowing what's going on, but I like to express myself in the sense of like, if I see something that interests me, I'll just post it like straight up. Like I don't look back. Like that's what it is. If I feel a certain way, I'll say what I feel. If I feel good about myself, I'm gonna post a nice cute picture. You know what I'm saying? But nothing is a production for me. My Instagram, I treat it the same way, right? Like I kind of, I don't structure it. I'm not consistent with the editing. I'm not consistent with like the posting, but I just do what I feel with social media. But I'm not on TikTok really. I posted something on TikTok, which is crazy though, cause like TikTok's crazy, bro. You get mad views for no reason. I literally have 2 followers, and I posted this like video I made, and it has like 552 views. I'm like, how does that even work? Like this morning,
We're
I was
just
like,
curious.
Huh?
People are just curious about TikTok, like what you posted.
No, it's just like the people on TikTok. I didn't even like share my TikTok link. It's just like weird. TikTok's built different. But yeah, I want to like definitely grow like my internet presence, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's very important, especially now, like where we are in 2021. I think you need a presence online, and it's not about the clout necessarily. It's about just having a foundation, or just like having people like really support you like instantly, right? And so it's very like my barber, even like on TikTok, my boss has 100. He posted QP mail, like QP mail, the Japanese mail in a bottle. So basically, QP mail is a Japanese mail. It's like the best mail you could possibly get. It's in a bottle, right? And it's like the highest quality mail, like so good. And he's my boss, technically, he's my boss. And he posted a TikTok literally like 3 days ago of him like just cutting the bottle in half and just having all the mail like just like drop into like a bowl. And he's like, this is the way to like get the mail out of the bottle, just cut it in half. And people were like so amazed. And he has like goddamn nearly like 200,000 like views on that thing. I was like, damn, son. I was like, for mayonnaise? I was like, what?
Mayonnaise.
I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, mad crazy. He doesn't even use social media like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the social media talk. If you guys have any questions from the comments, from the chat, feel free to ask away. So, these were questions that I was curious about. How'd you meet your housemates, and how'd you guys decide to live together?
Oh my god, it's so crazy. So Owen, one of our housemates, actually, I want to say like 3 years ago, we're all kind of into music, I guess. I'm not very like gifted in terms of like instruments.
Mhm.
But Owen, like, he knows how to play the drums, and his dad like makes like custom guitars and stuff. So back in the day, like 3 years ago, he used to like always have people like in his basement and stuff, right? And so he met my buddy Mayo. His full name is Mayowa, Nigerian man, 6'3". And he met him, and he had him over that one night, and I met him, and we vibed, like we connected on a cool level. And yeah, we did like an event together, like we like yeah, we basically like planned up an event, we threw an event, and we did a couple other things. We like always collaborated throughout the years and stuff. And then this year he just kind of like was like, oh hey, like, do you want to move into my house? Because his parents technically own this house, but
Mhm.
they're just paying it off because they live somewhere else, like they live in Vancouver.
Wow.
So he has this whole house. His parents don't live in this city. And he's like, okay, well, I just want to fill up all the rooms and pay off like whatever, like the mortgage or whatever. You know what I mean? Like we may as well just fucking do it because they can't sell it. They tried to sell the house. No one's trying to buy this shit. So we're like, okay, like let's just fill it up. So 2 months ago, he just messaged me straight up and he's like, yo, you want to move in? 1 week later, I moved in, and then Owen, the person that like connected us, was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you guys are living together? Like, I'm trying to like move in with you guys," and I was like, "Okay, like let's go." And that's kind of how it happened. It's like full circle stuff because Owen introduced me and Mayo, like
Yeah.
that owns this house technically. So
So it's just you three?
I know we have a fourth um roommate, Krishna, Indian
Oh, yeah,
girl.
yeah. Met her
Yeah,
on your stream the other day.
yeah. Super sweet girl.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a crazy. It's crazy how like I told you like I'm spontaneous. I'm just kind of like in the moment. I just kind of let it go.
Yeah. All right. So this is like super random, but you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. It
Go
was like
crazy.
it was about the stream that I caught you in. But I was like there at the end, I think. You're talking about some crazy ass thing that happened in your room.
Oh my god.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And
Yeah.
the way it felt like you were so used to it, or you're totally okay with it, and I see like people going off on chat or in chat, so I was like, what the hell's going on?
No, it's like okay. So it's like when we first moved in, I had like my Latino bros, Carlos and Andres, like come through, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so Andres actually, at the time, he just recently broke up with like his longtime girlfriend, which I'm homies with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, broke up with her. And so he was like mad, like frustrated, and there's like other beef like going on, whatever. So we like go out to the club like that night, like meet these like girls like in the line and stuff. And I was just pissed off that night because I didn't want to stand in line. The line was so long; it took us like an hour and a half to get in. But I
Mm-hmm.
left. I left. I went to a different club because I was like, "Fuck this line! Like I'm not staying." Right.
Yeah.
So I go. I like dispatch. I'm like, whatever, like I'll see you guys like back at the crib like later tonight,
Oh,
whatever,
that's
like
the
I'm
meetup
I'm a drink.
spot. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I go to a different club. I meet up with like other boys, had a good time, whatever, come back with like other people. And then on like Andres, like the guy that like just recently like broke up with his girl, right? Like he like fucking like brought out like all of these like girls. They're like pretty ratchet. But like the story was like apparently like the story was like male. Like my roommate was like telling me like, oh, like he did the deed of like two different girls on your bed, but he didn't. We solidified that. I think he was just like on the bed, like doing whatever, but he didn't do the deed. But that was like that was just like the story like people think like happened, but I don't. No, it didn't happen because he told me to his face. I'm like, be honest right now. Did you do the deed? Like, did it happen? Like, did you actually, what I'm saying? Two different girls on my bed? And he was like, nah, like all my life. Like, even, like, yeah. It was like a couple weeks later, he's like, I still see them, but I never even done nothing. I was like, fine. Fine, I believe you. But, like, it seemed like it for a minute. But
Yeah.
that was a story. Yeah, it was some ratchet girls that came through. I was like, oh, I hate ratchet girls.
That was hell of a story or like stream that night, honestly.
Yeah.
Alright, we got that clarified, sorted out. Alright, down to the random questions. Current favorite artist and song.
Ooh, that's tough, man. I really like Charlotte Day Wilson. She's an artist out of Toronto, but she collaborates with like Drake and Daniel Caesar. So she's on a come up. She's so talented. I respect what she does. I love her new album. Check her out, Charlotte Day Wilson. I'm playing her music every single day. I really love The Weeknd. I've always been a fan of The Weeknd since I was mad young. Obviously I love Drake. I'm Canadian. What can I say? My favorite song right now. It'd probably be Charlotte Day Wilson Mountains right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, what are some of your pet peeves or like your biggest one?
Pet peeves. I think I really appreciate. Okay, so when I link with someone, if I make a plan with someone, I really appreciate them. Like I get it, like you can reply to like text, you can like go on your phone, but I hate when people kind of just like we make a plan, especially if someone tries to make a plan with me and the other person is like 100% invested in their phone more than you know what I mean, like what we're trying to do. So that's a big pet peeve when people are locked in on their phone when we made a plan. That's like makes me want to pull my hair out, to be honest. Like then just you know what I mean? Like I'm just like just don't
Yeah.
respond to me. Like you know, you could be on your phone at home, man. I'm wasting my time.
Gotcha. Alright, so what's considered as your greatest accomplishment and greatest failure slash regrets? You did mention like regrets about like university, but
Yeah.
what would you say is the greatest accomplishment and failure?
My greatest accomplishment would probably be never never I think I've always had this unwavering confidence towards being who I am as a person, and I've had a lot of things in the way of that, you know, especially with like family and you know the people around me. But I think I'm just proud of that people accept me for just like who I am, right? Because I grew up around people that tried to put me on a path, and that's just true, you know. People try to always make you into a certain individual, and I'm just proud that I've always stuck to what's true to me and what's felt right to me, and I'm just really proud, especially now I'm 21 years of age. I'm very young, but you know, I just moved out, I'm independent, I'm trying my best. I'm not perfect at all in any sense, but I'm really proud that, you know, my family respects my choices, respects my career path, respects how hard I work and what I do for them. You know, I try my best to be there for them. I try to give back. And, you know, it's been a hard path. It's been a hard path towards where I am right now. It's been very difficult. And I've always felt like I could never make it clear and I could never feel very good about who I am in my own skin, in a sense. But right now, I just feel accepted. I feel appreciated for what I've done and what I have yet to do. So I think I'm proud of that, for sure, for sure. What was the second question?
It was like the greatest failure.
Greatest failure. Greatest failure. I think my greatest failure is whenever I stray away from a challenge. I think, yeah, you know, because I think I've been given a lot of second chances, even especially with cooking, and there's been a lot of times that people did not have to bring me back or even want to have me work for them. There's a lot of times that I've been very fearful. There's been times where I did not have the correct attitude. I was not motivated. I was you know, very lazy.
Mhm.
So I think that's my biggest regret. The times in my life where I was lazy and I took for granted my opportunities to better myself and take things seriously. Um, yeah, that's my biggest regret. I'm just grateful and very, what's the word, blessed, I guess, like blessed, and that people gave me a second chance and I could prove to them that I work hard. But
Mhm.
there's been times that I did not step up to the plate, so I think that's my biggest regret. Anytime I didn't step up to the plate, I didn't take on a challenge, and I was not brave enough, I guess.
Gotcha. So down to the last three. What was your very first impression of me?
My very first impression of you was actually like, it was so much, actually. It was sort of like you just have this aura, and this, I don't even know, like this presence about you where it's just so, you're there's nothing that can threaten who you are as a person. I think I've always saw that from the moment I met you. I met you, and the way your demeanor, the way you carry yourself, the words that you speak, the way you present yourself, and your intent, especially your intent to bring people together, and all these different things that come together that make you a person. It's always kind of astonished me, where it's like, that's someone I could look up to, and that's someone that I want around. I think that's my first impression, is that is someone I want around for sure.
Jeez,
And
thank you.
yeah, 100%. And yeah, and to this day, I always tell people like, I just don't get how he is the way he is. And for you it may seem simple, and it may even be difficult at times. Everyone struggles, but for me and a lot of people, we talk about it and we're like, this guy, man, he is just so true to himself. He's so true to others, and it's nothing but respect, man. Honestly, I've always had respect from, and I think that was my initial sort of perspective, sort of how I felt. I'm like, I respect this guy, seriously, 100%. So yeah, that was sort of how I saw you. I was like, damn, this guy is real. This guy is serious. No bullshit. No bullshit.
Dang,
You
I
know?
appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Wait, this is all from that one time I was in Lily's chat, or you're talking about like after that?
Well, it's happened like progressively, right? Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't like
Yeah, I
read like,
know.
but looking back, it
Uh-huh.
all kind of jumbles into like a main sort
Mm-hmm.
of impression. You know what I mean? Cause all
I
those
get
little
it.
instances, it just keeps adding up, and I'm just like, damn, like this guy is a sick guy, man. Like seriously, like no joke, no bullshit. Like if we weren't even streaming, like I wish we weren't even streaming right now, because I could tell you straight up, like, man, you're a good ass person, firstly. Secondly, like what you do to uplift like the community that you've grown, and your own goals, and your work ethic, it's inspiring. It is something I look up to on a day-to-day basis. It's something I see, it's just something evident. That's just facts, bro. Like you're doing a great job. I'm really proud of like just what you do, like who you are on a day-to-day basis. To be honest with you, like to be honest with you, 100%,
Damn.
100%,
This is a
100%.
lot
Like
to
I'm
take
just,
in. Thank you.
no, for real. Like the what you do is inspiring. It's motivating. It puts, it humbles me. It humbles what I do, and just the little things, man. Like you're just true to yourself. That's very important. It's very unfiltered. It's very just true, man. And then it's hard to come by. It's hard to see that from people. So I'm really glad that I know you in that sense, man.
Thank you,
Seriously.
thank you. Oh, Cindy's here, by the way. Sincerely Sinful Cindy. Hello.
Baby. Baby. That's my shooter right there, though.
Dre can't really see right now, so I'm reading for him, Cindy. So if you want to say anything, I got you.
I love you, Cindy.
I'm trying to get Cindy onto the podcast
Get her
soon.
on the
So
podcast.
like I'm like making the entire week free so she could pick a day. When do you get your schedule, Cindy?
Man, I love Cindy, man. I thought she hated me for a minute though. She'd be like, oh, Dre's so annoying.
Off Friday, Saturday next week. Okay, let's do Friday. Let's do Friday for now. I'll message you and we could confirm it.
Yeah,
I'll
I
DM
know.
you.
She hated me. She used to hate me, bro.
I did hate you at first, and I grew to like you. Yeah. All right. Cindy for Friday. Next
I could have
Friday.
married Cindy one day for real.
Wait, what the heck? How did she hate you at first?
No, cause I can see why, right? Like, it's because of what we talked about, like how like I can come off a certain way, right? Like that,
Oh, I see.
you know, and it's just I want to, I used to want to, I prioritize getting a reaction out of people. So when I didn't know Cindy and I didn't know what she was about, and when I didn't get to know her, I was just like, fuck it, like all girls are the same. I don't give a fuck about no girls. Like, I was like talking like crazy. I was being annoying, like hectic, but it wasn't real. Like that's not who I am. But it's
Yeah,
just for the moment, for like the laugh. But I never took it seriously because some people take certain things serious and I don't take certain things serious. So I can understand why that was like lost in the sauce. You know.
Dre came off like too strong. Got it.
Yeah, but I'm not cute though.
But I got to know Dre.
Cindy loves me, yo.
Off of his personal conversations from other people. I do love Dre. There you go.
She love me.
All right. Down to the last two questions.
Last two questions? Sheesh.
Who are the top 5 streamers that you find yourself watching?
Oh,
even
top
if you don't
five.
watch like a lot of streamers. It doesn't have to be in any particular order, just 5.
No, it has to be my G's. It has to be my G's. I've not been doing the best job going into Cindy's stream, but every time Cindy's online, I remember like I used to always like have to click on Cindy's stream, like on God, like 100%. Like even if I didn't say nothing and even if she didn't know I was there, I had to just for the energy, just for the presence. I love her aura. And yeah, like one of my top 5, Cindy, like 100%. I'm not even capping right now, not just because Cindy's here, but like 100%. There's times like I'm beat, like I leave work, I'm fucking dead, and I'm cooking food, but Cindy's online and she's cheered me up. Yeah, her personality and her presence has made me feel like better. Yeah, and it's uplifted me on unreal levels. I'm just really appreciative of who she is.
Oh, she said, I'm blushing. Let me leave real quick so he could change his answer.
No, I'm being serious.
I'm
being
hyper.
serious.
I'm hyper? Question mark.
Lily's top 5. I support her a lot. She supports me a lot. Trevor, top 5. JJ, Jachi J, my shooter, for sure.
One of the first ones, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, man. Who would be my 5th? I'm trying to think. And the thing is, it's like it's hard for me to say because I really do treat a lot of people like 100%. Like I support everybody's stream, but
yeah, of course.
In terms of favorites,
or just like watching who you find yourself watching.
Yeah, like I do not hesitate to watch Cindy, Lily, Trevor, Jachi. I'm trying to think of another one though. I don't even know, man. Myself? I didn't watch myself. No, I don't even know, man. I can name 4.
That's fine.
That's just facts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty hard for other people to name some, so that's cool.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
All right. Last question. So keep this in mind. Using your connection, like who you may know, who would you like to see on this podcast in the future, and why?
Well, I want to see a lot of people because I think you are I think what you're doing right now is very special, very important in terms of just like um pulling the community together. I really respect what you're doing. I love the setup. I love how serious you take it. I love your work ethic. First of all, I just want to put that out
Thanks.
there, guys. This is an amazing, what Wilson does is amazing. You got to give him respect. We got to give him a little respect for that. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for giving people airtime like that. That's important. Um, but who do I want to see next? There's a lot of people I want to see next. I want to see Cindy. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
see
yeah.
Cindy
We got Cindy
for
on
sure.
Friday now.
Yes, sir.
We got Trez on Sunday, this coming
Oh,
Sunday.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um. Oh, all my G's. All my G's. Show. I don't know if you know Show. I don't know if you know Tiff. Those are my G's. Cruz. Cruz would be fucking sick on this stream. Gary. All my guys. There's unlimited. You have unlimited. You have an unlimited amount of people you could interview, and that have amazing lives, that have amazing things to say. But yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just so amazed. I'm just so amazed of you. I'm more of a fan of you.
What?
I'm here. I'm not even here to like. I know I've been talking about myself this whole time, but I'm such a fan of you. I'm such a fan of what you do. I have so much respect for you. For the bottom of my heart.
Appreciate that.
Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I love what you do, G. Love what you do.
All right. So I'll close off the podcast at least, and then we could just chill and talk. Unless you gotta go, I don't mind. I'm totally down to talk to you
I'm
still.
chilling. No, I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
All right. Let me close this off at least for YouTube. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Chang Gang podcast. This is episode 14 featuring Dre's Day Off. Keep in mind that you guys can use exclamation podcast to get better understanding of why we're doing this, and exclamation guest to see the link to Dre's channel. Make sure to drop him a follow if you haven't already. Twitch.tv/Dre's Days Off.
Hey, I'm single. Any ABJs in chat or on YouTube, hit me up 1-800. I love Asian girl. Thank you.
Alright guys, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and please hit that subscribe button and we'll let Dre close it out.
Oh, am I gonna say something right now?
Yeah, anything you want. Final words.
Sheesh. I don't even know what to say. I think, honestly, I'm just happy for how far I've came. I'm happy that Wilson gave me a chance to speak on myself, and I think this was therapeutic in a sense for me because I came a long way. I don't have a lot of chances to speak and express myself in almost a therapeutic way. So thank you so much, Wilson. Thank you for being who you are. What you do is special. I really do think you're meant for great things, and let's keep it going. Let's keep the moments going. Let's keep being productive. Let's keep doing streams. Let's keep the good energy up, and let's keep making friends, and let's be there for each other. So it's all love. It's all love. Let's go.
Alright. Peace out, YouTube.